Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast. This is your Easter and 420 edition. Welcome to the show. This is the American School numbered episode 223. And we're here. God, it started dark already. We're gonna be doing talks all about Kickstarters, Bane or Boon. Do we like them or do we hate them? So if you guys are just here hanging out for the first time, make sure to get subscribed. If you want to see more stuff like this, leave a like. And of course, these streams come to you ad-free. So if you're watching this absolutely live, hey, if you don't mind, a couple of bucks goes a long way to help keeping these things that way. Jacob, how you doing, boss man?
It is a day. I've already had my Easter foods, so I am lovely, relaxed, full, and definitely in the right mindset to talk about my favorite topic, which is Kickstarter.
Oh, I thought it was food. I thought we were a food podcast with
Look, as much as I want to start
tangents
it on
about
food
3D
and keep
printing.
it on food, I can't keep it on food. We got to talk about Kickstarter because I have some probably not spicy takes. Normally when I talk about it, I'm the spicy one, but I think this time I'm not going to be the spicy one.
I think I'm going to be a little spicier, but it's also likely because I don't have any like real world 100% experience with running a Kickstarter. You do.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've helped people start and run Kickstarters, but I've never done one for my company. And so that's where things are a little bit different. So if you are just joining us, you don't know who the heck we are. My name's Grant. I own 3D Musketeers, and we are a 3D printing, 3D scanning service bureau. Jacob is one of the owners of Construct 3D, where they make the UK's fastest 3D printers. You can check them out. They're also the sponsor of our podcast series currently. You can check them out at construct-3d.com. Links in that description. And if you do want to win some awesome printed solid filament, which is made in America, so, free of tariffs, you can enter to win in that pinned chat message. So we got a bunch that we just kind of pulled, and I realized we missed like the easiest one to rant about. We missed Loop.
Oh, go on.
We missed Loop. The filament thing.
Oh, the filament recycling thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they're gonna do pre-order though, which I happen to agree a little bit more with, but
I would prefer pre-order.
For those that are a little bit new to the idea of Kickstarter, what it is, and its original intentions, you mind going into that for them?
Yeah, so there's ways to fund starting a business. One is venture capital, one is angel investors, the other is crowdfunding. Kickstarter is crowdfunding. So instead of getting one or a few people with lots of money giving you money because they like what you're doing or they want something from it, Kickstarter is going to the masses, and they might donate a little bit or a lot, but it's going to the general populace to determine if your product is worth getting money or not. And that populace will either donate money, and the key thing is it is a donate, not a purchase, but they will donate money towards the cause, and then they may or may not get something in return.
It's effectively a micro investment, is the way that I've always looked at it. You also missed a very key thing for businesses. Yes, you can take an outside capital, but instead you could just do this. No? Come on.
Not many people are going to get that.
How many people get that? How many people get this joke right now? All right? Come on.
This is just so you could show off your new boots. That's what.
No, they were literally just sitting next to my desk. They are new, but I got them on sale, so I'm happy about that. And there's Luke's laboratory. We'll be talking all about the Pika Hot End and our thoughts about Luke going to Kickstarter in a bit. But yes, it is pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. But I want you to remember how often when you are bending down to tie boots, how that ends up looking. So remember, sometimes setting yourself up maybe to, get hurt. But I'm fully bootstrapped. I think you're fully bootstrapped too, right?
We're about 80% bootstrapped. We got an initial funding through Kickstarter because we did do a Kickstarter. though it was less for the possible profit. It would have been nice if it was massively successful. But due to a badly timed launch with other big companies coming out with very competitive products, the Kickstarter it was successful. We were funded within 12 hours, I think. I think it
That's
was either
pretty
8 or
awesome.
12 hours. But it stopped getting funded. So we only got, I think, £30,000, which for setting up manufacturing is not a lot.
That doesn't even cover the rent.
But it was good. It took the edge off and it allowed us to get to where we are, but the rest of it all bootstrapped. The nice
And
thing though is because we did the Kickstarter process, we've done it. We've done the exact same steps you would have to do if you did it yourself, and also felt all the pain and the benefit of what you wouldn't normally see. Because there's a lot behind the scenes that people who back Kickstarters don't normally get to experience. There's a lot that is hidden.
yes, there is. There is a lot behind the scenes of Kickstarter that people don't understand. The way that I've always looked at Kickstarter is that it is all about micro investing, right? You're opting to do a micro investment into a company, a person, whomever, and you're trusting that they're not going to run away with the money. So ultimately, they need to be Hector from Fast and the Furious because they need to be too slow to make away with the money. That's a
I've not
good
watched Fast
reference.
and
I
Furious.
know.
I've not
That's
watched Fast
a
and Furious.
damn good reference,
It's
Jacob.
going straight over me.
Jacob, there's like 10 episodes of this that you need to, or episodes, movies of this that you need to familiarize yourself with what is truly considered the pinnacle of American filmmaking. It is none of that, but you need to consider when the first Fast and Furious came out, which was 2003, and where the car culture was at that time, and just how that movie created further car culture and has become a cult classic amongst the car people.
Okay.
Because remember,
I guess I will have to watch it.
and if you're hungry, you got to find another way home, Pizza Boy, because the road's closed. Yeah. And
That
you're in
is
my good
another reference
graces,
I
but
do
you're not
not
keeping
get.
your car. I'm going to make just all the Fast and Furious references that I can just to upset you for the fact
They'll
that you're
just
not going to
go
get
through
them.
me.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So,
I can tell there's a reference that is as far as it goes.
yeah, no, it's totally fine. So, let's run through the things we're going to be talking about today. How you feeling about them?
Interesting. I've not seen any new news come out since we wrote the docket,
No,
but
nothing new.
at the same time, I'm upset that there's no new news on some of these topics since the docket got released.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at eufymake, XTool metal, the Revo Point trackit, Eliarchi, Alchemin, Luke's Labs, Pika Hot End, and the Creality Pio Create Harlot X1. And we're going to be talking about like pre-orders versus Kickstarters, then, printer design. There's going to be a lot that we're going to be discussing, but the bulk of it's going to be surrounding the current and, very, very soon Kickstarters that are coming up and kind of how we like some of them, potentially for the wrong reasons. And there's really only like one, maybe two in that list that should even be using Kickstarter. So, Kickstarter, in its origin, was designed for small businesses, like micro businesses, really, because the U.S. considers a small business to be sub like 6 million in revenue, which is ridiculous.
Pretty much the same for the UK. It's 10 employees. If anyone's ever had employees, getting employees is a massive milestone where you must be turning over quite a lot because they're not cheap. So small business is surprisingly large for most people. There's a term that like a catch-all that isn't officially supported, but it's part of the SME, like small medium enterprise group, which is micro SME, meaning you are even smaller than small enterprise.
What I would say is it's not micro, it's perfectly normal.
It's an averagely sized enterprise, I swear.
Yeah, it's an averagely sized enterprise, damn it. It's not a micro enterprise. It's perfectly normal.
I mean, statistically, isn't there
Yeah.
going to be more micro enterprises than bigger enterprises?
Exactly.
So
See?
it is an averagely sized
See? Yeah,
enterprise.
micro power. Wait,
Wait,
no.
no, 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 no. Take that back.
Crap. GP3D says my small business has a great personality. I think mine does too. We put cats on t-shirts, so like that alone gives us an awesome personality. And we give coupon codes to our co-hosts for them to buy t-shirts, and they still don't do it.
It, I have to get around to it, but it feels like I don't want to take your coupon code. That's like mates rates, and I don't agree with mates rates. If somebody wants me to do something for them,
My God, I've never heard it
I
called
will
that.
pay them I will pay them the full rate. I don't want a discount.
I've never heard it called mates rates before. So normally it's like the friends and family discount, and we always joke that the friends and family discount is they pay double, right? Because they're gonna be the most problematic.
Yeah,
Family's great, but sometimes they have the most ridiculous requests. Like worse than some of our customers, which is hilarious to me because we get some weird freaking requests. But yeah, mates rates. I like it. And as Luke said, if they're friends, I'll barter. Hey man, barter system. Amen. Because the tax man don't take a dime on the barter system.
See, I think I'm just allergic to having savings. Because if I say came to you for a job and you gave me mates rates discount, I would be arguing with you going, no, you charge me the full amount. Because I'm like a good friend doesn't let somebody lose money because they know you.
No, see, you're the good friend that understands what it takes to make something. A good friend that doesn't understand what it takes to make something will totally take the discount because they don't understand the value of the time that they are getting. And that's a very, very specific thing. Oh, 3D printing nerd is here. Joel Telling says mates rates OMG, I love this. Yeah, I've never heard of it either. And I love this saying. I'm going to adopt mates rates right now. Like, oh my gosh, gotta have the mates rates. You know, I might even put that on our website. Or God, we should make that a coupon code. We should make that a coupon code. Maybe. All right. Remind me when.
What have I done?
I don't know. Done a lot. I'm not.
It's just a normal thing we say over here, like in Britain. It's normal.
It's a British.
Like, Lost in Texas. It's a normal British thing.
It's a Britishism.
Mates rates.
I love it. I've learned something new today, and I wasn't even intending on it, but I have learned something very uniquely new to me. But yeah, let's jump in with this eufymake E1. It is a UV printer for makers, home use, things like that. Like, as far as a product goes, there is nothing like this on the market. We actually used to work with one of the major manufacturers of UV printers here in the United States. I am under a non-disclosure, so I can't specifically say who it is. We no longer work with them. They required tolerances that were just not fundamentally possible. And when we had originally agreed to do work with them, they had not specified their tolerance needs. And we'd asked about it, and they said, whatever you can do is fine. You know, so we delivered a part with, like, it was 0.1 tolerance. They were looking for 0.0001 millimeter tolerance.
Well, that's quite intense, even for like just regular machining.
Yeah, that's intense, period. They're like, well, our machines can do that, so we need the parts that you make to be able to hit that too. I'm like, look,
mate, that's not happening.
Without post-machining of 3D printed parts, you're not going to be able to hit that. Yeah, 0.1 micron. 0.1 micron.
No,
100 nanometers. Yeah, like, you will struggle to get surface finishes in that realm, right? And you need, like, metrology grade equipment to figure out. I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't do that. So that's it. We're done. It was a one and done project with them, and that's totally fine. That's the way some things go. But yeah, so AnchorMake rebranded to Eufymake, and quite frankly, I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of prefer AnchorMake because Eufy has that whole scandal of the data collection behind it, where Anchor really doesn't, right? So I look at it and say, well, I don't know how I feel about this rebrand, but I like the product. And I think AnchorMake had maybe gotten a little too we are just 3D printing and that's all that we do. And eufymake is now the, well, we do more for makers in general. What do you think?
No, it came across as a bit of a weird rebranding to me because Eufy, in my eyes, was the security side. Like, it was the cameras.
Yeah.
And obviously they had the scandal with just Eufy in general. And they've done a very good job at rolling things back and trying to fix things. But there's still that little tinge of the only two real things I remember of the brand.
It's
Because
cameras.
it was cameras and a scandal. Like, that was it. So
Yeah.
moving printers over to that side is a bit weird when they already had the Anchor Make brand not massively adopted, but understood by a lot of the hobbyists as that's their 3D printer under the Anchor name, because Anchor makes pretty much everything now.
Yeah.
So I'm not against the change. I just think it's a bit odd. Like, a brand that was already synonymous with they do quite a lot of things, separating off to the brand that doesn't do a lot of things is just a bit weird. I'm not against it. It just doesn't sit right at the moment. It'll probably get better in a couple of weeks when the name just is drilled into me.
I'm fine with it. It was just something that I didn't see coming, and I don't know. I think it will work well for them. I think it will work very well for them. Anchor is kind of known for being really good with branding, and so eufymake I think is going to be just fine there. But it was a unique rebrand. View at your own risk with the $10 says, "'Cause you're awesome," and also a question. Thanks. My printer station is a heavy gauge steel rack, 3 printers, 2 AMS, lighting, filament dryers, others. For safety, should I bond and ground that rack? I mean, there's really no reason not to ground it, right?
Yeah,
Ours
there's
are
no
not.
downside to doing it. I wouldn't, because I trust the machines to be grounded.
Yeah, ours aren't. I mean, I guess if you touch your rack and you get zapped, go ahead and ground it. Otherwise, it's probably fine.
In reality, if you touch your rack and you get zapped, find what's making it live in the first place.
Well, I mean,
don't just band-aid it.
Yeah, I meant more of like a static shock. Like, are the machines creating static? And I agree, your machine should be grounded, so you shouldn't have that problem. But if you are for some reason, then ground it. But honestly, it's good enough. So thank you for the $10. The racks behind me are not grounded. Because sometimes they don't like to work. Sometimes we have to yell at them, and that means they're not grounded. Although, when we do have to yell at them heavily, they do get grounded. You know how this goes. 3D Printing Nerd said, "I'm sorry, our tolerance needs are akin to the plank length." 0.1 micron for RA is a mirror finish, let alone dimensional tolerance, as Luke said. Then how much is a realistic tolerance in atom? I've never been able to test if they could actually do those numbers, but maybe they were just trying to get out of working with us. I don't know. We had such a good relationship with them. I went down there like 3 or 4 times before we actually like did anything financial with them, to hang out, to learn about their machines, to try them out, to use them. But these are like $40,000 to $60,000 UV printers. And so to see the E1 at, we're guessing somewhere in like the $2,000 to $3,000 range, right?
I'd say $2,000 to $3,000. Like,
I think that's realistic.
Fairly small. It looks like it's booklet size and smaller.
It's desktop size.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say most of the cost will be the printing head. The size really isn't the big thing.
Oh yeah,
but I'd still say at least $2,000. In theory, they could probably get it cheaper, because it looks like it's about that big.
Right.
It doesn't look massive. And for that size, it does have this level of probable cost attached to it. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw it for $600 to $900. But it also is more likely to be like $1.5 to $2,000.
Well, and
just because of the quality of the technology involved is expensive.
So you figure it's almost guaranteed to be the Epson print head for UV. It is almost guaranteed to be that print head. The ink and the print head is where they're going to make their money. So this actually ties really well in with today. So I've got a lot of experience in full color 3D printing. In fact, I used to run a half a dozen machines in my peak.
Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. There's a second picture that makes it better. It's about that wide by about that deep.
I thought it was
So
like
you can
A4
put,
basically.
yeah, it's a lot bigger than I thought. So yeah, a couple grand then.
Here, we'll focus. So yeah, since today is 420, I have to remind people every now and then that Snoop Dogg is one of our clients, and we have worked with Snoop before. This is full color sandstone. So those of you, and since Joel's here, I'm just going to call him out, right? So those of you that have seen images that Joel has done on his Mamaki printer, that is polyjet. So polyjet is, well, as the name would state, a bunch of tiny little jets that squirt out a UV curable resin very, very accurately. Full color sandstone is literally inkjet printing. Instead of paper, it's powder. It even uses HP inkjet heads. Like it's the HP C4810A. I have not really ran those machines in years, and that number is still drilled into my head because it was always, anytime that I could find them, I bought up every bit of inventory that I could in the area. Like I would buy 50 at a time if I could at $50 a piece. My machines they're like 69 and a half grand, brand new, $86,000 with materials to run for about a month. So I've got experience in the like kind of 2D, 3D side of accurate color printing. And for those that don't know too much, specifically African American skin tones or any closer to earth tones are very difficult to replicate on the sandstone material, this full color sandstone material, because it tends to lean more green. And so you have to actually modify your files to hit accurate colors. And that is something that we figured out early on, and our company was known for being the best of the best in the industry for full color sandstone. We won 5 world recognition titles and all that for best quality, and then we stopped competing. So yeah, kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to full color stuff, and it is a challenge. And anyone will tell you in the full color world, we actually don't even care about the cost of the machine. It's expensive, don't get me wrong. It's the cost of the ink. It is always the cost of the ink. So Eufy can absolutely deal with selling these machines at a loss. And in fact, I highly recommend they do. Because they can charge whatever they want for the ink and the binder and whatever you want to call it. And that is your business model, right? It's the 2D printer business model since day one. Sell the machines for pennies on the dollar, lose money on selling the machines, and then people will be locked into the ecosystem. And to be clear, I don't have a problem with this. I totally recognize that it is a valid business practice, and if you are surprised that it is occurring, that's on you. You should know better. If a machine is being sold as cheap as it is, and then you look at the consumables, which you should be. If you're buying a machine, you should be looking at consumables. And you're like, huh, that's expensive. And you still purchase it anyways. You knew it. You should have done it. Yeah, the Kenneth Wadiska says the business model. The first one is free. Yep, it's the drug dealer business model. First one's free, the next one's going to cost you.
Oh, bearded printer with $5. Thanks so much.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Do I have to do the high five for Joel? Cause Joel, I don't know. Always, we tried the heart last time. There's no way we're doing a high five across the screens. Okay, we're not gonna get it. Yeah. Luke said I was amazed when shopping for lubricants for the Swiss. One brand wanted 12K to fill it up. The other one wanted 3. Luke,
sounds about right, to be fair.
If you don't have a supplier already, send me a DM either on Twitter, Discord, or whatever. I believe I still have a coolant contact. I should, back when I could still walk really well. I had a coolant contact, and the guy used to just like deliver 55-gallon drums for next to nothing. It was great. It was it was so nice. Um, but how do we feel about Eufy and Anchor utilizing Kickstarter?
I personally am mixed. I think it's all right to do a pre-order like marketing push
Yeah,
with the
that's
you
fun.
might get like the first like a first batch discount, but I don't like, and I'm not even going to blame Eufy for this, and I'm not going to blame Anchor or anyone that does this. I'm actually going to blame Kickstarter for not differentiating big company versus small company, because it makes it very hard to determine, oh, this is a multi-million pound company that is just utilizing the service, or it is an actual startup. And as cinematography and videography gets better and better, it's very easy for smaller companies to appear bigger and bigger companies to appear smaller.
Yep.
And that's where it becomes a little bit disingenuous with what is your money funding and where is it going.
Right.
Because for all we know, this could be the final version and it's not going to change once it hits shelves. Or it's the first batch, or they're going to run with the money slightly and they're going to give you the rejects of the first batch. You don't know.
Yeah.
And knowing the background of the company helps. And thankfully, Eufy is a big brand where a lot of people have probably heard of it, seen it, or just been on Amazon at least once and it's there. But not everyone's going to know that for other brands. Like,
Right.
take Luke's Lab, for example. They make good quality stuff. I know that they're not going to do a pump and
Dude
dump on
just bought a
Kickstarter.
Swiss mill. Okay.
Yeah, like
You
that
don't
is
buy Swiss
investment.
mills, and it's likely for this Kickstarter, to be clear, so he can make hot ends. You don't just buy Swiss mills for fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to be able to, but I can't.
But the point is, like, Luke's Lab is a completely different size
Yeah.
to Eufy.
And
And
they're
while
competing on the
I
same
have no issues with
platform.
either, they're there. They're on the same bit. If you put printer in, they're probably going to show up next to each other. And that makes it exceedingly difficult to quality judge. Because if you look at one from £1 million company and they go, oh, this is the video quality, and then go to a homegrown company
Yep.
and it's worse, well, of course it's going to be worse. They're not
Yeah.
playing with infinite money.
Yeah, Luke
And there just
can't
needs Kickstarter
spend
needs to do something to figure it out.
Luke can't spend the amount of time, effort, and energy that it takes to do marketing campaigns the way that Eufy does. Because Luke has to be worried about paying for the effing machine, where Eufy, Anchor, whomever, they've got the financial backing. So I agree. It would be nice for Kickstarter to have like, and I don't even need them to designate the pros. I want them to designate the certified small businesses. So I want
That
to
would be
see
good.
like a Kickstarter certified small business, right? Or something like that, where they hit a specific threshold. And we've talked about this where Kickstarter, it's marketing. Kickstarter is just marketing, right? Eufymake doesn't need Kickstarter. They don't need it. Clearly they don't. They've already sent out fully functioning machines to content creators. I think the only one that I've seen with issues, it looks like Brian Vines got one, and his is a little bit angry. I checked. I never got an email about it. I don't think Nero ever did either. So very curious, because I would have loved to have one.
But I don't think they're directly targeting the 3D printing side. I think they're more targeting the maker side,
but so
which
many
makes
3D
sense.
printer guys got them. So, and this is similar to the Bamboo marketing campaigns and schemes, which, to be clear, we love. Bamboo has completely changed the way that marketing is done in this industry, in my opinion. Eufy's doing the same, where they're now starting to branch into the more like stay at home, maker that, maybe they're a homemaker as well, and they want to also, pursue some hobbies on the side. UV printing was never one that you could do. Never one that you could do for a reasonable price. And there's, as far as I'm aware, not any affordable ways to do it in a small batch
Nope.
level. I don't think there is. So this eufymake, I dig it. Now, how about the way they're handling the pre-order for the pre-order? How do you feel about that?
I don't like it. I think I can't say it's scummy because it's not. It's just business.
Spend 50 to save 800. So it's basically a pre-order to the Kickstarter so that you can
Yeah.
save your so that you can like save your space in the Kickstarter. And you know what? I can't.
I'm not against it, but at the same time, that's the whole point of Kickstarter,
Right.
is it orders the list by who ordered when.
Right.
So I'm not sure they're not even like earning more money on it because they're giving a discount. The only thing I can imagine is they're trying to entice the type of person who requires the discounts to buy it. Or they're on the fence because they know the price of the technology and they're trying to bring up a new group into that area to then profit from them in the long run.
I'm
And
not.
I'm actually not against it. I actually do like the idea of pre-book your point in a pre-order. Because didn't like Prusa do something similar with the you could put your $100 in and it locks your position in the queue and obviously you can take it out if you ever need it.
But it
But that's
didn't.
not giving you a discount
Yeah,
on the
it,
final
it didn't
price.
unlock a discount. So right now, and this is in British pounds because, well, here I'll go to the U.S. site, uh, because money. So right now it is pay $50 from April 15th through the 28th, and you will submit a fully refundable $50 deposit to secure your spot. Deposit is refundable anytime. From the 29th through June 8th. And these dates are different depending on what website you're on. You can select and purchase your preferred bundles and add-ons on Kickstarter. And then from July, you get the cash back and deposit. Get $200 cash and your $50 deposit back after shipping. Shipping will start in July, and shipments will be made in batches based on payment order. So it's like they're basically guaranteeing you a spot by paying 50. Now, it's fully refundable, so I don't have a problem with that, but I have a problem with that there's another level of savings that isn't available if you don't know about it. So I don't know. It feels confusing, and maybe I'm not awake yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of dumb right now.
I personally don't get it. I don't see the business logic behind almost a Kickstarter. I just don't see the reason for it where unless you're really doubling down on we know a lot of our customers are going to have FOMO over this. It does just seem like another step. And normally for marketing, you want to remove the amount of steps needed to make a sale. Now, this could just be if they pay 40 quid in, or $50, then it locks them in and they're more likely to convert to a sale. And it could just be like micro percentages. Like somebody has analyzed, the little $40 here, $50 here is enough to guarantee the big purchase later. That could be why. Or they're gonna have because I'm not sure what the price is on Kickstarter because they haven't announced it yet.
No, yeah,
It could be that the Kickstarter price is going to be higher than they expect. And therefore they're going, well, you didn't back it on the website as the pre-order discount, so it's going to be more expensive on the Kickstarter. But it does seem a little bit, it doesn't rub me the right way, but I don't know enough about it to make a stance.
Yeah, I don't mind
I
that
can't figure it out.
I don't mind that it's fully refundable, but it's like, okay, is this to just drive initial profit and see, where people like it? Because like right now, $50 up front, that's free money, right?
Yeah.
That's literally free money. Now it is fully refundable, so people can back out at any time. But we're seeing pay $50, save $800 in total. So that's a $600 discount on Kickstarter and then $200 cash back. That's
It's
just
a lot.
nuts. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
And again, this pushes for the sell the machine at a loss, make your money on the consumables, which again, totally fine with. That's a completely valid business model. HP's been doing it for years. Love them or hate them, it works. But personally, I feel like companies like Eufymake utilizing Kickstarter take away from the people that actually need it, like Luke, who is a real small business, who, like, he bought a Swiss mill for this hot end. He said there's some tubeness in there as well. But, like, let's be real, right? This is a capital purchase that Luke had to make, and he's now taking a risk. If his hot end doesn't succeed in Kickstarter, he gets nothing. And all the time and effort that he spent to do that campaign goes away. Companies like Eufymake and others that don't need Kickstarter. Clearly they don't. They're doing this weird unlocking extra savings by giving us money up front, but also Kickstarter, but also not system. It takes away the value that companies like Luke's Laboratory bring to the table for this. And similarly with you guys and Bamboo, where, you know, Construct 3D launched 3 days before Bamboo did, that Bamboo didn't need it. Now, they were brand new. So I'm going to give them the okay. I'm going to give them the pass on that, because they were brand new to the industry and nobody saw them coming. And Bamboo has not done a Kickstarter since. So, in my opinion,
which I'm happy for. I actually think they did it.
In my opinion,
they've done it. Then stay.
They've done it right. Right? They've done this right. However, there are so many brands that haven't, where they just keep using Kickstarter, and they're using Kickstarter as a marketing platform. And let's be real, Kickstarter is a marketing platform. That's what it's there for. But the issue is, like, I've talked about before, how I want Kickstarter to be limited to just small businesses. Their business doesn't succeed with that.
No, Kickstarter is incentivized to have bigger, more successful projects.
Right.
Because that's how they get their cuts.
Makes. They want the
They desperately want big $10 million, $20 million, just like big projects that are guaranteed to work because it looks good on Kickstarter. It's a lot of money. They get to support something cool. Like, from Kickstarter's perspective, they don't actually want smaller businesses.
No.
Smaller businesses are almost the backdrop for allowing them to earn the real money somewhere else. And it's this weird little middle ground of they are here for the small business, but they don't want the small business. And it's just a bit weird. And that's just something people have to come to terms with, is there is no real alternative to Kickstarter, and this is how they have to earn their money. So it's this weird little middle game of everything is a bit muddy. And muddy is where capitalism thrives.
Yeah. And remember, USA peeps, this isn't made in the United States. And
oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, are we going to see tariff changes by July? I don't know, but I can tell you de minimis is going away, and clearly if they're going to have you save $600 or up to $800, this thing is absolutely over $800 cost. So Americans that are looking at purchasing these, you guys either need to roll the dice and hope that, you know, tariffs go down by July, or hold off.
And I should say, tariffs are not based on the discounted price that you bought it. It's based on the MSRP price of the product.
It is based on the manufacturer's specified price, whatever they decide to specify the price at. So
if you're getting 600 off, that could literally just be because they've understood there's going to be 600 in tariff, or they're just trying to lessen the impact, because say it's a $2,000 machine and they're 600 off, you're still paying a tariff on $2,000.
On $2,000.
Not 1.4.
And it's currently 245%.
Oh.
200. So that $2,000 machine all of a sudden
keeps going up,
getting a lot closer to 7 every day. So just be careful. The other thing we need to keep an eye on is shipping channels. So right now DHL has turned off all shipping above $800 to USA consumers. They are still doing, or yeah, all above 800 to consumers. As of May 2nd, it looks like they're going to completely turn off all shipping to US consumers. They will still do with US businesses, but DHL did put out a press release about that because they're drowning in paperwork.
Yeah.
Will this change anything? We don't know. Again, we try our best not to get political here, but just keep an eye on it. You don't want to find yourself saying, I got a great deal, and then all of a sudden realizing, oh no, I did not, in fact, get a good deal. So,
and as MLV in the chat does say, Construct is becoming the budget brand, and you can even get 5% off if you email us, Grant is pretty, and we'll make that happen. Unfortunately, it does have to be an email purchase because the shipping industry is on fire. So we will work it over email to get you the best rates.
Still remember this is upsetting to me.
Of course I'm going to. If they send an email, they get 5% off and you get a 5% rebate. So you will get 5% of the sale price.
I don't want that 5%.
You
put it into the fund where we go visit each other.
Yeah, there we go. It will fund cooler YouTube things, and it's cheaper than a H2D at the moment. So you know what to do. You want a nice big format, high-speed 3D printer designed with repairability? Yes, I am shilling myself. Buy a Construct One XL. You want something slightly cuter and smaller? Buy just a regular Construct One. There we go. Definitely not a shill.
You should be opening up, fully refundable pre-orders for the Construct 2.
I am tempted. I was actually tempted to do a Kickstarter for the Construct 2, but then I also thought to myself, that would be a stupid decision because we don't need a Kickstarter anymore. We're going to follow through with it anyway. And that is also half my mindset on Kickstarters in general, is if you're going to do it either way, do you need a Kickstarter? Because a Kickstarter is to kickstart the project.
Yeah,
it's to go from nothing to something. And in my eyes, if I'm already going to do it, I'm lowering myself to everyone else's industrial quality of it's just marketing then. And as a business, I should consider just marketing, but also I'm a maker first. I'll say this to everyone. I'm a maker first. I value the integrity of a maker bigger than the money in my bank account. And that's why I kind of don't want to use Kickstarter again. I'd rather just do an announcement, do a release on YouTube that will probably get 52 views because nobody subscribes to us. And I'd rather do that than a Kickstarter where more people will see it and will almost definitely generate more money. But I value the integrity of Kickstarter, which is to kickstart. And we already have the equipment and the machinery and the knowledge and the facility. What are you kickstarting other than just giving us money for a product?
Well, I would argue that in your case, a Kickstarter would exist to help you get inventory and be able to purchase a larger volume of inventory to hopefully get a lower price on that inventory and be able to deliver those machines to people with those discounts and not lose your ass on it.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
leave in the chat what you think.
Yeah,
because I'll be very interested to see what everyone in the chat thinks. Because you guys are all, I'm going to call you advanced users. You're not listening to us two rant if you're brand new into 3D printing. If you are, welcome. We do this quite often. But your input will be really helpful because you are the guys that matter the most to us. You're the ones with the voice, and whatever you say, that would be quite good.
Luke asked, how big is the XL?
The XL, it is 325 by 370 by 400. If you know you're not going to use the Chinese style of 4 kilo spools where they go really tall instead of wide, you can actually get 440 in the Z. And that is with a CHT Volcano nozzle as standard on a Hemera XS hot end. On average, you can get between 28 and 38 cubic millimeters per second of flow on pretty much all materials, and we measure that mostly with PLA and PETGs. I don't like giving flow rate numbers with ABS because I can just turn the temperature up and give you a fake number. So in PETG, we normally get about 32 to 34 cubic millimeters per second. If you're using my new favorite PETG brand, 3DQF, we're actually getting a little bit lower at 28, and that's just because it loves temperature, that material. But there you go. There's actual numbers, not marketing numbers.
Christopher Elliott with the $5 says, for the visiting each other fun, for the bonus video, speaking of which, Jacob's mom, is she willing to share her lemon drizzle recipe? Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
We can make that a Kickstarter reward.
There were multiple comments about that lemon drizzle cake recipe and getting it. And I'll tell you, one, you should know, it's boozy and it's really good.
It is good.
Whatever booze your mother put in it was a lot of booze, and it was good. Luke said, "Do you need some tubes for flow faster in them?" You could, but you're gonna end up losing Z height from the tube because they're so big.
To be honest, we're already looking at possibly making alternative heads for higher flow because the machines can go faster. It's literally just flow rate that we're capped by. So we use a 0.6 nozzle as standard because you get, on average, 30% extra speed because you only need 2 walls instead of 3 for most bits. So we are looking at alternative hot end assemblies or designs, especially as we're looking at even custom motherboards for the tool head. But that's just Construct 1. So we've got Construct 2 hidden in the background, which is even bigger. Then we have Construct 3, which is still in paper mode, which is even bigger. And this is probably the first time I've talked about it. We're considering going a fully custom universal design route. So if there is a business that wants a meter by 2 meter printer with very particular requirements, we've now got a production pipeline formulated, not tested, but formulated, that will allow that with a universal motion system.
So you have an idea of a plan.
I can see the tube being very popular. I have an idea of a plan, the concept of a plan. It is a very good plan. One of the best plans.
You do not do a good Donald Trump, I'm sorry. Who actually does...
I'm intentionally not.
Oh, okay.
I will not try to do a good
Editor
one.
Andrew does a good enough Donald Trump that I have to get him to stop doing it because it is disturbingly good and I'm very upset. It upsets me. It's the cadence, the accent, it is perfect. And it is upsetting. And I'm going to clip this so he can put a clip of himself doing the Donald Trump in the clip and then post it. Andrew loves cameoing in the videos.
It was a very good plan.
Okay, so Luke's never seen one of your machines in person, so it's always good to hear.
Oh,
yeah, and he's going to reach out about alternatively sized tubes as well. Wait a minute. Luke, all right, we got to do this,
Are you
Luke.
saying I can get a bit of a chub on my tube?
Yeah, I say we need the perfectly normal tube, which is like the tube micro. Then we have the tube XL, which is like the tube normal. The tube double X. You need to have very eyebrow raising
the Magnum
for the tubes.
Just
the chub tube. Yes, the chub tube.
Chub tube. So we've got the chub tube, the chobe tube, and then just the regular tube.
Oh, God. Luke, when are you going to come on the podcast as a guest? I know we've never discussed this until literally right now, but we should have you on as a guest at some point. Luke said there's zero phallic joke in tube. Y'all just like it too much. All right, yeah, whatever you say, boss.
I like what DevMiner's put. Longer tube is tube with more U's. Shorter tube is chub.
Wait a minute. Is this Eliarchi over here with their VOO, which is V with 5 O's because they have a 5 AMS thing for their machine? Is that...
I still stand by. I love the naming scheme that came out of the game Super Hexagon. So you have hard is your default difficulty. Like, you cannot get medium and easy. It starts at hard, goes to harder, goes to hardest, goes to hardester, hard est, hard est. I just love it. It was really fun.
You know what? I'm here for it. I love that kind of thing. I dig it. Looking at some of these other ones, so we have XTool with the XTool metal. That one, I'm okay with.
I'm okay with.
Hear me out.
I
know XTool's a big company. And I know that they do laser stuff. But this is such a out of left field for them.
This is a pivot. This is changing something internally.
And while I recognize they have the funding to do it themselves, they are utilizing all, and I let me make sure to be certain, but
I mean, I think it's important to say nothing in their tech is new. It's other
oh
people's
no,
tech
they're
that they're
doing the
pulling
same
together.
deposit system. Damn it. All right, I'm not okay
Are
with it
they?
anymore. Shit. I'm
I'm
not okay
opening
with
it.
it
I'm looking.
anymore. They've got a deposit
I
system.
see it.
$500 deposit equals $8,000 in rewards and a 5-year warranty.
Oh, I don't like that.
Don't.
Do not put a warranty increase behind a deposit or a reward tier. A warranty should not be a purchase. It should be a guarantee.
I'm okay with being able to buy longer warranties, but it needs to be available to everybody, not just
Hmm.
people that got in on it. So, like,
Well, buying a warranty is just insurance sponsored by the company that makes the product. That's all it really is. Like, if you bought an extended warranty in your car, that is insurance. You're insuring your car won't fail for
right,
however long you bought that for.
you hope.
Locking it behind a not a paywall, because that's the whole point of buying something, but a time gate, I think is the easier way to describe it, is it's something only for the very first batch. That I'm not okay with. Because does that mean you're actually confident in your product? Does that mean you're selling insurance, but only for a select handful? I don't get it. I
We'll
That
know in a
rubs
few
me
more
in the wrong way.
days. It looks like they're launching sometime, around the 24th. So we'll know. But yeah, that one feels a little rough. But as far as the vehicle of Kickstarter for this machine, I am
I'm okay with
more
it.
I'm more okay with it because it is such a paradigm shift for them. And XTool is using it specifically as a marketing platform. XTool does not need Kickstarter, right? But XTool has done so many other lasers not under Kickstarter, right? They've just released them.
Yeah.
They've done pre-orders on their own website. They're choosing Kickstarter for this, I firmly believe, to have that extra exposure, that extra marketing. And from what we've seen of it, both of us want one. They're very
Oh,
expensive, to be
desperately.
clear. They're like what, 15 grand? I think they're
I don't
around
know.
15
I
grand.
haven't seen the price yet. It would not surprise me if it is up like just below 20 grand. Like the type of laser that they're using and everything, I would say is at like the 12 grand mark. And there might be not tariff, but just like surcharges, like XTool brand cost on top. Because while the laser source and the head and everything is not special, it is just off the shelf laser
Oh,
tech.
hey, the
It's
price is
how
on their
they've put it
website.
together. Oh,
Uh,
how much?
MSRP is 18,000 for the 1200-watt welder and cutter, because let's be real, that's the one we're all going to look at.
Yep.
Early bird price is 14 for it. The lowest price, which this is if you do referrals,
Oh,
you could do successful referrals with deposit. Your friend can also get 5% off. So you can actually get pretty far down. And I just saw non-deposit users only get 1 to 2 years of warranty. And that upsets me.
that does upset me a bit.
And that
I
upsets
mean,
me.
there's obviously the laser source has a lifetime, but
Um,
the
it
it's
should be pretty much
I just don't
a
like it.
non.
I
Yeah.
don't like using marketing as a way to change warranty. Because warranties are really a safety thing. It's a safety that you're buying a good product. And locking your first batch as a deposit to say your product is going to be better, that it just doesn't sit right. Like if you bought a washing machine that only has a 2-year warranty instead of a 5-year warranty, you'd think your 2-year warranty washing machine is cheaper because they're not rating it to last as long. And that's probably why I don't like this. Is they're almost like they're mixing the whole point of a warranty with sales.
Yeah,
And
and
I
like
bet you they're hoping that people don't use the warranty. Because in 3 years, they're probably going to forget it's in warranty.
and like to be clear, you can the $1,200 welder or the 1,200 watt welder is 9 grand regular, 7,000 as an early bird. So like that's not even bad. If you don't need the CNC cutter, it's I mean just the fiber source is going to run you a couple $1,000s. They're not
Yeah.
they're not making a lot of money on that. So, and yes, while I recognize that XTool has done other Kickstarters, they've also done a lot of machine releases with no Kickstarter,
Mm.
right?
I,
So,
I think what
eh,
makes it okay in my head for this is it's the paradigm shift means they're changing structure internally, and Kickstarter helps with greasing the wheels of let's
yeah.
get this new product line going. Obviously, they're a big company. You can't hide the fact they're a big company. But I'm more okay with this than, let's say, Eufy, who is a massive company with probably 1,000 more employees, and they really didn't need to use Kickstarter.
I'm not certain that XTool is as small of a company as you think. I think XTool is actually a
Aren't they
bigger
only a couple
company.
hundred employees?
I mean, that's still
I
a
think they're like
pretty big
only a couple.
company.
I mean, they're huge. They're literally 100 times bigger than we are. But at the same time, it's very easy for companies to like embed in doing one thing and one thing only. And this does feel like well, at the scale of their company and they're trying to change, they might need 15 new employees, a new product lab. Like that is expensive. So I'm more okay with XTool doing Kickstarter because of that.
For this specific one, yes,
Yeah.
I do agree.
If they
Again,
came out in a year with a version 2 of this, I would not be saying the same thing. Because they've done
mm,
it once, they're going to copy it, and then that is not a Kickstarter. Yeah.
yeah, I think because it's a new market, and I guess see we can't allow XTool to do it, but knock Eufy to do it because it's a totally new market for Eufy too. We knocked Eufy for it because they've got the money, but we're allowing XTool. So that is mildly hypocritical of us, but is there a reason? Is it because of the company size as to why being a bit of a hypocrite here is okay?
I don't know. So Tina's actually said something quite interesting, and you will have to chime in on this because I am unaware of American stance on warranties.
We don't have
So
it.
Tina says, at Jacob, in the EU, you have a warranty by law, which is true. We have minimum warranties of expected lifetimes of the equipment between the seller and the buyer of 2 years. It covers only dead on arrivals, and in the first year, the seller has to take the burden of proof, and the second year, the buyer. I have no idea what the warranties are like in America. So in the
We don't.
EU,
We don't have them.
we have legally mandated protections for a lot of products. So dead on arrivals, that is covered no matter what. Even if there was no warranty, dead on arrival is a warrantable thing straight to factory. As a factory, we only give a 1 year piece of warranty on ours. We know it will last longer. It's just stupid for us to give more at the scale of our business. But most brands will do a 1 year factory warranty for factory defects
Yeah.
and then a multiple year warranty for failures that happen along the way. And that is all from seller to buyer. So if it was like your shop that you bought it from, they would have their warranty to say, we think it's good, here's your warranty. And then the factory would normally have a longer warranty to protect everyone. Does America not have anything like that?
Not exactly. So it will vary based on the state. I guess Maine apparently has a implied warranty law. SoundSpark says California is probably going to have some decent protections. I live in Florida. We don't have any of that. But I also am in the part of Florida where I am the warranty, right? Like that's I just fix the stuff myself. Mind you, I can't fix fiber sources and things like that. But there are credit cards, like the Costco credit card that you can get, just gives you an extended 1 year
That's cool.
warranty on anything that you get.
Because I know
So
in the UK and EU, we have cooling off periods as legal precedent. So if you buy something and you don't want it, you can return it within a set period, no matter what, no questions asked.
It can be
And
like 30 days sometimes, but that's very dependent on the manufacturer and
okay.
what they're okay with and what they want, right?
Mm. Also, here's a pro tip for anyone that doesn't realize they have this in mostly for the EU and UK, but I think it affects America if they buy from the EU and the UK because they get grandfathered in on the law. If you buy something and then it goes on sale, you can email the companies, go, hey, can you give me the sale price if it's within your return window? Because that means you could have returned it and just immediately bought it.
So Amazon is the great example of this. No, they don't. So Amazon would
I've
rather
done it in Amazon and it works.
Amazon would rather have you return the product and then buy it cheaper than cut you the difference. I've tried. And they're like, no, sir, this is what you bought it at. This is your price. If you want that lower price, you'll have to return your item and buy a new one. And I'm like, I don't feel like packing mine up. So I'll buy the new one at the lower price and then I'll return it as the older one. It's the same product and I'm saving myself some effort along the way. I'm assuming that there's a mild amount of potential fraud that's occurring there, but it's also it is in the best interest of the company fraud. So, look, nothing is illegal anymore in the United States, so F it. It is what it is. Everything is alleged. Nothing is real. Even this podcast is fake. TLDR.
Yeah, we're all AI generated.
Yeah, and according to commenters, because our backgrounds are fake, or so they think our backgrounds are fake, they should not care about what we have to say.
I know, yeah.
But what we should care about is the fact that we have 137 people watching and only 47 likes. You can pump those numbers up.
Pump those numbers up. Do it for me.
Those are rookie numbers. And let's hit that billing department real quick. Let's give a big thank you to our sponsors of the show. We've got Construct 3D with the UK's fastest 3D printers, the world's first bamboo 3D printer, which is always by 3 days. But I am also the oldest twin by 15 minutes, and I am still the older brother. It absolutely counts. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. And he got another Fast and Furious reference into the show. Let's go. Let's go. Got another Fast and Furious reference into the show. If you do want to pick up some awesome Made in America filament, you can check out printedsolid.com. And if you are watching us live, you can enter to win some at that pinned chat message. Of course, we're going to be talking about Kickstarters and things like that during the show today. So remember, in big, bold text, Kickstarter is not a guarantee. If the company runs off with your money, you should know better. Do not put money toward a Kickstarter that is not money you are actively willing to set fire to and just enjoy the heat from it. So, if you're supporting a Kickstarter and you said, oh, they rug pulled us, you did this to yourself. I can still feel bad for you, but say you did it to yourself. I understand that there's ways and places where you can save a bunch of money. And XTool, eufymake, RevoPoint, these bigger companies that are using Kickstarter are much closer to the real, like, what is a pre-order, but it is still not guaranteed. Just be careful. Be careful there. And
Kickstarter is not a shop page.
It is not a shop page.
It's a promise page. It is a donation page, but it is not a shop page.
Yeah. There's no there's no guarantee. And if you do want to pick up some awesome t-shirts, we have them in that little product bar thing. So you too can get a long cat shirt. And if you do want to support us, you can join for as little as $1 a month. $10 tier and higher gets you access into the private Discord, where you will also have access to a private Discord only coupon code for merch. So there you go. Luke's Lab said, can I kickstart cryptocurrency? John Stern calls it tube coin.
I believe crypto is the only thing banned on Kickstarter.
Everything's legal.
Until it's not.
I mean, just
try it.
Give it a little bit.
Just make a cryptocurrency. Rug pull anyone. Pump and dump. Do it. Capitalism says it's good.
Tube coin coming soon. Reject Pika, embrace tube coin. It's a tube coin! We need to go on the tube coin! so
Oh
sorry for
my
headphone
god.
users right now.
It's okay. I think you peaked, but I
Oh, I
can't tell if it
absolutely
peaked on
did.
Zoom or peaked on YouTube. So
Yeah,
we're gonna find out.
I can see my my VU meter. It peaked. Dev-miner, what did I just join back into, bruh? Dev-miner, you should never leave. You should never leave the show. Stay at the show the
No,
whole
you should leave
time.
it on in the background to
Increase
help our
our watch
analytics.
rates.
Make sure
Yeah.
you comment multiple times in the chat, so
Yeah.
then it makes our analytics better.
Diamond hands. Mama didn't raise no paper-handed bitch. Diamond hands. Peeking to the moon. Oh, wait, no. Tube going to the moon. I'm already messing it up.
Remember, real chads play this video at half speed to give us double the watch time.
They play. I can't even
No,
talk.
no, no. We have to speak twice as fast so they can half the speed.
Wait, so normal? We just speak normally?
No.
No.
We need to speak really fast, so then when they half the speed, it goes back down to normal.
Well, I didn't take that ADHD medicine today. If I did, I totally could, though. I didn't take the stimulant today. If I took the stimulant...
Let's get a 3-hour stream in 45 minutes.
Oh, God. Oh, Dev-miner says you watch all my videos at 1.75. Dev-miner!
I'm not going to say anything about the fact that I have most videos on 2.25, so...
Damn it, it's Karen says Kickstarter for world peace. Got it. Nero threw some shade. Someone was talking about having a GoFundMe for something, and Nero said, you know, don't misuse the American healthcare system. Because it's GoFundMe, because it's so expensive that you need GoFundMes to afford things. And
I hate the fact that's the only thing I know really about GoFundMe.
That was so much shade.
It's used for medical.
But honestly, we were standing under a tree for that one. I mean, it was it's so bad, but so well deserved. And honestly, yeah, it was like Luke said, it was a 10 out of 10 tweet. Absolutely 10 out of 10 no notes. Should be the pinned tweet on Nero's Twitter. I did see, are we supposed to call this the Twitter tool medal, or do we have to call it the XTool medal?
That's a good point. I refuse to call Twitter X because I can't put it in a sentence. How am I supposed to just say the letter X in a sentence?
Without saying X gonna give it to you. Like, come on.
I'm going to keep calling it Twitter, and I'm going to slowly ruin all my analytics on Twitter by calling it Twitter.
Dev-miner said that wasn't even shade. That's an effing eclipse.
Ooh, but Tina with the question.
Is it an eclipse in full reverse, somehow going 60 miles an hour down a highway, giving you the middle finger out the window and saying, how do you like them apples?
No, it's an eclipse of my heart.
Although that was technically an Evo. Tyrese was in the eclipse, but I reject your reality and substitute my own. That is another Fast and Furious reference. Specifically, that is, I think, Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah.
I still get none of these. I will eventually be forced to watch them.
Sir, do you like attractive women and nice cars?
Why did you just sell it to me?
Then the first 3 Fast and Furiouses are amazing. If you also like the absolute disrespect for physics, the absolute disrespect for architecture, the absolute disrespect for anything other than family, then you'll like all the others too.
Oh, I love how bass boosted it becomes when you do that.
Well, okay, my microphone... I can have the proper, here, I'll do the proper streamer thing and have the microphone right.
Oh, you got even a little light on your microphone.
Oh, yeah. And that mic, and it goes red when I peek the microphone. Yeah. It's a Samsung Q2U, for anyone wondering.
Nah, everyone loves the cheap Behringer.
It's an SM58 clone. It's
XM8500.
Yeah,
it's cheap and it works.
It's a Shure SM58 clone. Just anyways, We have gone
Anyway,
so far off.
let's get to the super
Uh,
chat that we've completely ignored
we missed
with
a super
Matt with the
chat.
5,000 ARS
Oh
once
yes.
again, playing fast and loose with the YouTube donation button with the grant supports fraud confirmed, which is true. Grant's not real.
No.
Yeah,
No.
defrauding you.
You know, hashtag
Tax evasion
commit
is ethical.
crimes. Tax evasion is only illegal if you can't afford a lawyer to make it go away.
Yep.
And that is fact. That's fact. So let's move on to I clipped that.
We've got a question from Tina.
What?
Once again, for a 1 meter by 2 meter custom printer, what motion system would you do there? I would probably go with a hybrid HBot, Core XY on top of each other. HBot for the y-axis, is that's going to be the heaviest one. Make your longest axes the H, and then the shorter axes the Core XY. You need the power of multiple motors. You would probably want to go with an 8 motor drive. So 4 for the HBot, 4 for the Core XY. You could probably push it up to 6 because the main thing you're trying to deal with at those size isn't the frame, it's the belts. The belts will be your enemy. And the moment you go to thicker belts is the moment you start getting like gear inaccuracies. You want to stick with preferably 28 tooth pulleys at that side. On 12 mil belts on your standard GT2/GT3 belt profile. The motors shrink the overall length of the belts because you measure from motor to motor, not motor to pulley to motor. And that's where you want that from. As for the actual motion system, linear rail can work, but it can get expensive that size. V-wheels, actually kind of good. Because they're uniform over the entire length.
Everything. Ignore all
Calm
common
down,
metrics.
Pantheon.
We are Pantheon now. Ball screws and servo, all the things.
I would argue though that is the worst decision you can make because ball screws will be better than your frame.
I want enough moving mass that it will break anything that gets in its way. Solid block of tungsten, never heard of them.
I would say look at linear slides. So something that is a metal to metal contact or metal to polymer contact on a sliding surface. So going down the IGUS, like Iglider style of material route, where they've got their POM bushings. It works. I've built a machine with them. It was all right. Metal on metal or metal wheel tends to be better. For the X-axis, because it's floating, linear rail, just because you want strength and lightweight.
IGUS is great if you're totally fine with a bunch of tolerance throughout the years. It's the same reason that I hate that this industry has just like, oh, bamboo did it, we'll just all do it too, where they just get rid of the X-axis bearings and give us bushings that are not properly made, they're not properly lubricated, and so if you don't use the right oil on them or you don't use oil at all, they wear a lot and then your machine becomes looser than a $2 pistol.
See, this is why I like IGUS, because they actually use the correct material. I've got quite a good relationship with IGUS, and they've given us a couple of free things to test with, and I have been surprised with how good they are. Especially as from, I'm pretty sure most people in this chat would have tried those Drylin bushings you can get from AliExpress. Those are ass. I hate them.
They're not
I
great.
absolutely hate them. They do not work. But the correct stuff from IGUS can work quite well. Now, the downside of the IGUS stuff is the higher friction. So you need more motor torque and you need better belts. But that can be good because the main issue you're dealing with at that size is accuracy of motion over the size, not necessarily the frame itself.
Right.
It's all about tolerance creep, and bigger it is, the bigger tolerance. But yeah, just honestly, V-wheel. I would go V-wheel when it goes too big because that's, if you look at a gantry crane, they don't use linear rails.
They use rack and pinion for the most part.
They use rack and pinion and massive metal wheels rolling on a surface.
But they're also not moving
industrial
fast.
V-wheel.
right? They just
They're
need
moving meters per second at times.
right, but they're more concerned about long time like wearing, right? They want to just dump the thickest of
true.
thick greases up there and just forget about it, right? They want it so that you have grease certs where you're, you know, putting a full tube of grease into it, and that will last for the next 5 years, right? There's
Actually, now I think about it, the one that I would say would be the best, but it doesn't exist yet for our scale of factories, is if PO Poly optimized their linear drive Magneto X drives, that would be the best thing. So I've gone to an injection molding company before, and they've obviously got meter sized machines. They're all using linear drives on every motion, and they are rapid, but they cost an arm and a leg. So if PO Poly can fix the hunting issue at slower speeds, that would be the optimal solution because you get accuracy and speed and you don't need belts. That would be the best.
I'm honestly surprised we don't see more in the linear rail world with the maglev stuff. And like, here's the thing, like I have a Magneto X, right? It is magnetic linear drive on the top, but underneath it is an MGN 12 or MGN 15. So
that is quite common, to be fair. You don't really get the lev part in maglev. You just get magnet drive. And that's the strength, is magnet drive, is insanely high performance without the slop of a belt. Also closed loop, because you know exactly where you are at all times.
Magnets. How do they work?
Yeah, like that sort of stuff. If you have a pacemaker, do not.
No.
If you have technology that you like, do not. If you have a computer or a laptop, do not. Know what you're doing when you start working around magnets.
If it is a reasonably modern computer, it's fine.
I've been around some powerful magnets.
SSDs are totally fine. SSDs are totally fine. Hard drives? No. No, fam.
No, don't even consider it.
Do I have? I do. Here. This is an actual hard drive magnet. This is a magnet from the platen of a hard drive. I had to help a friend who was moving out of state and didn't want to take their computers with them, do some data destruction. So I salvaged the magnet out of that hard drive because these are like,
they're good magnets.
Ridiculously strong neodymium magnets. Ridiculously strong. Yeah, I
don't even think they're neodymium. I think they're like a molybdenum alloy.
I'm pretty certain they're neo. I could be wrong. I'm fairly certain they are. But yeah, took the hard drive apart, rubbed a bunch of dirt in it, smacked the platters with a hammer. Yeah, no, you're not getting any data off of that. Nope. You will recover exactly nothing of value out of that hard drive. It was also a hard drive from 20.
Take it or leave it.
It was from 2014, so honestly, it probably didn't have a lot of life left in it anyways. So yeah, let's move on to a company who has always chosen Kickstarters, RevoPoint and the Trackit. I don't like it. Okay, I like the scanner. I don't like Kickstarter for RevoPoint.
I think they've gotten themselves in a crutch where they can't, or at least they don't think they can market any other way. So they're only doing what they know works, where in reality it just doesn't come across very good anymore. Like it's the perception. And my perception of it is it's lazy. Like they're using Kickstarter as
But it's really not, because
Kickstarter's high effort.
It's very high effort, and Kickstarter takes like a non-trivial percentage. It's a minimum of like 10%, I believe. Like,
oh yeah.
So RevoPoint is saying, we want this marketing effort. We're going to spend a lot of money to get this marketing effort. And oh yeah, we're going to make less profit on it by using Kickstarter. Like RevoPoint is easily large enough that they don't need this. And part of me says Kickstarter is really kind of inhibiting them.
I get that vibe as well. Like I do question why some companies choose it when they are, I mean, the crowd that uses Kickstarter is not the crowd that is buying their product. And it does make me wonder if it's more of a they're going to self-fund it themselves, and then they can claim successfully funded in so many hours.
Well, to be fair, most of these companies have such low numbers they're trying to hit anyways. They just sneeze and they're fully funded, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's got a lot to do with that. Like, I think Bamboo had a relatively reasonable, I think it was like 500,000 is what they were going for. Like they had
Bamboo's like amount was good. Like it was a legitimate goal.
Yeah, everything about that Bamboo Kickstarter I look at and say, okay, you know, you already had the money, but you were a new company, so I don't mind it. Revo Point,
they didn't set their goal at $100.
Right.
And that's kind of the bit that I don't like. We'll be coming on to that.
We're going to get to that in a bit, so stay tuned. Yeah, I like the trackit, while it is a bit of a shift, it is still on the it is still blue line lasers. So Revo Point's done that with the Metro X. It's like I don't have an issue with the tech. So the tech is already well known to them. But like, what value does Kickstarter give them other than marketing?
Maybe shareholders. I don't know how their company's set up, but it could be just to show off to their shareholders, we got this much success in this much time with our new product, therefore we're good. That's the only other thing I can think of, because it does just seem like a drag. It seems like a lot of work, a lot of effort to do a Kickstarter, which is a very involved process. It is not a make some marketing material and that's it.
Yeah, like proper Kickstarters, I was told.
Launch?
Good.
What?
Oh, okay. I'll go. For proper Kickstarters, I was told that you're spending like 40 to 60 cents for every dollar that you're bringing in on marketing, right?
Yep.
So you're using a Kickstarter as a means to build hype. And Chris Catlett is saying the faster it gets funded, the higher you get placed for placement. And, you know, that's the value of Kickstarter, is that people go to it to look for stuff and they might find your product, versus if they just did a pre-order on their website, you have to know where to go. But knowing the tech that is involved in the trackit, it's not going to be an impulse buy level scanner. And once again, tariffs, because we don't have knowledge on that stuff either. So why? Like, I can totally understand if it's a new vertical, right? So when Revo Point released the Metro X, I had no problem with it because it was their first blue line scanner. So, okay, fine. You want to test the waters, test the market. Fine. This is not your first blue light scanner. Why, like, other than marketing, what is the point? And why are you going to give Kickstarter a cut when you could do your own marketing, take that cut that you'd be giving Kickstarter and do it better? It's weird.
It is. And that's not to say I like the product. I like the product, but I don't like this marketing revenue.
I will probably end up getting a trackit. If they don't send me one, which I hope they do, I will likely end up buying one. But I'm not going to do a Kickstarter. With Revo Point and any of these, like, Chinese companies that are very hardware-based, their software is normally so bad, it's not worth it to me. So I would rather wait 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years even, to let the software become a little bit more, how should I say it, mature? Yeah.
Yep.
Software to become more mature, so that as a business, I don't struggle as much, right? So I had a talk with Structure, who is no longer Occipital. I guess they broke away from the company Occipital and rebranded to Structure, or they broke away from the company. I don't know. A few years back, now it's the Structure Gen 3. So Structure is actively looking for resellers. And I'm like, you know, we can chat. Also, they're in Boulder, so we're going to go visit them when we're out in Colorado next month. But in talking with them, I said, look, your hardware, and like they're trying to sell me on the hardware. I said, I don't care. I legitimately don't care about your hardware. And I said, look, I've got a $20,000 scanner handy, and at the time my Leo was backed by my PC, so I was able to grab the Leo as well. So like I have $60,000 of scanners on my desk. I don't care about your hardware. I care about your software. If you guys have a good software stack that makes it easy for people to either develop software with your API, and your own based software is good, then your hardware doesn't matter. RevoPoint makes beautiful hardware, but often has very poor software. And I mentioned them. I mentioned the Creality Raptor. I even mentioned Shining 3D. And Shining 3D has the best of the free softwares, in my opinion, for the affordable scanners on the market. But I said, look, you guys, it's $1,000 plus an iPad. So you're looking at $1,500 minimum for one of their scanners if you don't have an iPad. It's fully portable, which is nice. I said, but you need to understand you're now competing up against the RevoPoint Morocco Plus, the Shining 3D Einstar Vega. And if your software is not better than theirs, I have a hard time telling people that they also need to go buy an iPad and the scanner versus just go buy a dedicated product. If they don't also, if you need an iPad too, great. If you already have a nice iPad, great. And I ended up talking with one of the sales guys for a while, and I said, look, dude, I am fine with looking to resell your product. I don't have a problem with it. However, if you are expecting us to be software support as well, it's a no-go. I don't mind being hardware support. That's no big deal. It's simple. Swap it out, move on. Software support? No dice. You don't have good enough software. And so, like, that's the thing that matters the most to me as the end user, is that the software is good. Yes, I am totally happy to make some level of concessions for software that is on a cheaper scanner, right? Like the Einstar. I have the regular Einstar, the wired one. I think the software there, it's passable. It's not as good as, you know, the software for my Eva, but my Eva's a $20,000 scanner with a $1,700 a year piece of software. The Shining 3D Einstar is an $800 scanner with free software.
Interesting.
So, like, why? Yeah, and if you don't need guaranteed accuracy like you get with the Artec products, then go get a 9-star. It's a great scanner for the money. You will not get a better scanner for the money right now, in my opinion. Straight up. You just won't. But as a business,
might have to pick myself one up.
Yeah,
I hope you have an affiliate code.
Maybe. But let me see if I can get you a hookup, because there's a Shining 3D office locally. Let me see what I can do.
Ooh.
And they owe me a few favors. Since they
will not say no.
Well, they just call me and I come down and we hang out and we take a look at, you know, things I can't talk about versus things that I have. So we're comparing scanners and we're comparing their accuracy. And since I own my scanners outright, I can do whatever I want with them. So, yeah, they wanted to scan a car. They were having issues with the Libre. So they said, can we see if the Leo does it well? And the Leo did pretty well. I mean, it was still a not perfect scan, but it did much better than the Libre did. They're like, okay, this gives us some knowledge. I'm like, I don't need to know what it is, but now I'm curious, you know? So, yeah. It's a world where I say I'm happy to help them if that means that the software side of things gets better, because I believe that there is a lot of value on the software, especially if you don't charge for it. Because I can put it on multiple computers. I can do the scanning on a cheaper laptop, take all the processing off onto a more powerful desktop, and it means I don't have to spend a bunch of money on a laptop. So
people massively underestimate the software cost the moment that it locks it to one machine. Like, I use Fusion 360. Yeah. I use it all the time. I only use it because I can go from PC to laptop without buying a separate license. If they did that, I would be choosing another piece of software, because that is a pain in the ass every single time. If I ever upgrade my computer or like my computer dies, most of the time you lose your license because your hardware changes or something else, and then you lose your license. Being able to get either free software or software that's transferable is worth it. Hands down, it's worth it.
And you know, the Einstar has pretty decent pretty decent software. It is $859 US currently. I'm sure you can find them used. They even come with a calibration plate, which is pretty nice. I will say they are one of the most uncomfortable scanners to hold that I own. But my buddy Eric Cederberg has a printable handle for it that
I was just gonna say, like,
so
buy a
much better.
scanner to scan your other scanner you just bought.
Yo, dog.
So then you could print a collar for it so you could get to hold it better with the scanner that you scanned for the scanner that you just bought.
Exactly. And if you notice on the Einstar's page, it does not give you an accuracy. Does not give you an accuracy measurement. And they give you a point distance, 0.1 to 3 millimeters. They don't give you accuracy. Because
It
the
is
Einstar...
accurate enough.
Well, the Einstar is a... I mean, from Shining 3D themselves. It is the... it's the gateway drug to 3D scanning.
Yeah.
It's gateway drug to 3D scanning. So... Founders asked if I'm still daily driving Prusa Slicer if I've moved over to Orca. We use both. So Prusa Slicer for the Prusa printers, Orca Slicer for pretty much everything else. There you go.
Yep. Pretty much the same. Like, I only ever use Cura if it's directly with an Ultimaker machine. To be honest, Orca is my default, but I will use other slicers when and where it makes sense to use those other slicers.
I will say, though, as far as RevoPoint goes, I feel like their marketing team is just so good at the Kickstarters at this point that it is second nature. So there's just like some level that doesn't really matter because they know what they're doing. So that's... I don't have to like it as a consumer, but if they know how to do it and they know how to do it easily... I mean, F it,
okay,
I think I'll
give you this then.
too.
Before we get on to the next topic, what do you think about wormwood? If you know of them.
I thought you were asking me about like the actual wood. Wormwood.
No, they're a furniture company. I cannot remember where in America. They make very high quality, just furniture and roleplay adjacent equipment. They predominantly use Kickstarter as their new product launch site, and then they go over to their website for all other web sales.
Here's what I can tell you. I searched Wormwood Furniture, and their website was not the first on that list. So they are likely a smaller Wormwood Furniture.
They spell it with a Y.
Oh, yes, they do. Wormwood Gaming. I see that. I see that now. Oh, okay. All right. I know who they are. Yep. Okay. Yeah, they've got that dining room table. So
I love their products. I want to say this now. Love your products. I've definitely not stolen a couple of your designs to then 3D print to give to my family because honestly, they're amazing. I wish they were more affordable in Europe because I would buy them quite often. But they use Kickstarter as their predominant launch avenue. And they're big. They're quite big. They're between 50 and 100 employees from what I gauge. They fluctuate based on the sales.
But so because they're woodworking, I don't necessarily have a problem with it because without Kickstarter, they're having to guess what their sales will be. Now, they could still choose to go ahead and do a pre-order, but their stuff does look really pretty. And
I was going to say the same thing. I think it's completely acceptable for Wormwood, a relatively big company, to do it because they're woodworking. The industry that they're in is very handmade. I'm not going to say speculative, but it's very...
No, it's speculative.
It's exceedingly volatile, at least.
Yeah.
And having Kickstarter to be able to sanitize and validate the products they make is acceptable in my eyes, where their entire company is obviously, if they see this, hi, please correct us if we're wrong. I'd like to think that they've based their company around successful Kickstarters instead of trying to get it through their website, as a lot of their products are speculative. Like they make good products, but they don't know if people will buy them. They can make informed decisions, but at the end of the day, the Kickstarter will give them the knowledge of was this like readily accepted versus not, with relatively minimal risk to starting it, because the production pipeline is expensive and costly and it requires people. And I think they only recently just went through like a manpower downsizing, specifically because they were doing really well and a Kickstarter exploded, but then there was no follow-up because it was a Kickstarter. So for that, I'm more than okay with. But for things like Revo Point, that's a bit different. Like they're entirely not speculative. They make hardware, and that is a bit different to
Well,
woodwork,
and
where there's a lot of manpower.
it's also about storage space, right? Like to store a table in a warehouse is like to store 100 tables versus 100 3D scanners that fit into a
Yeah,
box like this. Like I think Wormwood benefits more from Kickstarter because they're able to take their really beautiful designs and sell them to people who wouldn't necessarily be the ones looking to buy their products. However, Kickstarter to me is also a place where I go to look for things like board games and things where you can support those smaller indie companies. So it is well within the kind of style of what I expect out of Kickstarter to see furniture associated with it as well. So while Wormwood might be at the upper tier of what I consider company size allowable, their product is complementary to things that are often sold on Kickstarter,
yeah.
and therefore it makes more sense to me.
Also, the handcraftedness of just woodwork.
It's also very
And
effing
obviously,
expensive.
they use big
Holy
industrial
crap.
machines, but woodwork is so expensive to do.
Yeah.
And there is still quite a lot of, well, woodworking expertise is required. Like, they might use big machines now for a lot of it, which is the smart decision to make. But they still have woodworkers. They still have edging people where they will, like, break an edge and they will polish
I was
something.
gonna say, you better fully.
They have people on payroll to edge. They edge on payroll.
Wait, does that make them edgelords?
No, that's me.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Why do you think I'm not standing up right now?
Jesus Christ.
I hope that gets clipped.
I'll clip it. That's fine. I'll clip it. Oh dear Lord, have mercy. Woodworkers are called carpenters, Jacob. No, they're called wood elves. God.
Look, I'm not a woodworker. I work with steel and plastic.
They're
Antithesis of that.
They're oh, what's the funny terms for woodworkers? Like,
They work with dead tree. I work with dead dinosaur. We are not the same. It's plastic.
But does tree have dinosaur in it?
That's a completely different question for an after hours stream.
Not today. I have to go pick up propane tanks, then go to dinner with the family. Not today.
If you want to join an after hours stream, which will not be happening today, for the $10 tier or higher,
I
you can subscribe to the Patreon.
I might hang out in there for a little bit, but yeah, normally we'll do like an after show, which encompasses at least another hour. But yeah, you know, and yeah, if you do want to come hang out in the Discord, you can. Yesterday I was in there for just a little bit. I was pumping gas at Costco, and then I was stalking Amber in Costco because she got there before I did, and then I had to go find her. And unfortunately, the cat shirt gave me away every time. Miss Tubram says
Tina,
propane and
you
propane
might be
accessories.
wrong.
Yes.
Sorry. Tina, unfortunately, you're wrong. I might work with bamboo, but it's not a wood. It's a grass. Doesn't count. It's a grass. Trust me, I had to do the paperwork on it. If we did wood, we have to do the woodworking and timber directives. For bamboo, you don't, because it's a grass. We still did them anyway because we wanted to be safe and
This brings a
certain.
whole
But
new meaning to cash, grass, or ass. Uh, bamboo is not grass.
bamboo is grass.
No, it's
It's
not.
just big, hard grass.
That's what she said. It's a
It's
weed.
an averagely sized grass.
It's a weed. No, it's an extra large grass. It's a weed. Bamboo is a weed.
I mean, yeah, do not plant bamboo anywhere you want to plant anything else for the rest of eternity. The moment you plant it, that land is gone. It is bamboo's land.
It does own by, yeah, it is owned by bamboo. I'm upset that bamboo is grass.
Did you not know that?
No! I'm not okay with
it's
this.
Grass. It's green and it grows out of the ground.
So are
and
trees.
It's straight. What's a tree bark made of?
Tree.
It's brown. Brown. It's made of brown.
Okay.
Bamboo is green.
Bamboo is brownish.
No, it's green. It then goes brown like grass when you cut it.
I'm upset at this.
Be upset. Our printers are made of grass, not out of wood.
Jesus Christ.
It's perfectly fitting for today of all days, the lovely 420 day.
Yeah. Had another joke for 420, but it's gone now. Eliarchie. Eliarchie's next on our list.
Yeah, I saw
found-
somebody post earlier, I think it was Steve C, said that they were thinking of doing the Kickstarter for it, and they wanted somebody to speak them out of it. This is me speaking to you right now. Don't.
Look, okay, their goal was $1,674. I don't know why it was so low. They've only done $77,000 in backs so far, and they have 11 days to go. We have seen issues with these machines so far. We do not have one to be able to check if it's safe, but I want to like that machine, and I'm not certain it is safe.
That is the big thing for me, is as somebody who's come from a manufacturing background, there was too many bits where I've gone, ooh, I wouldn't have made that decision. And it's gone past there's a couple of oversights or a couple of inefficiencies to, I think they are just playing fast and loose with safety margins to the point where that printer, from what I can see, obviously I don't have one and I am from a competitor company to their space, I don't think it is deemable as safe.
And the vast majority of you don't need peak, PEC, and Ultem. You don't. And if you need peak, PEC, and Ultem, you're playing in government for the most part. And government will not like this printer. Guaranteed. Right? They won't. Hell, we recently lost a serious print job because we didn't have a Stratasys machine. We had ABS, fully enclosed, heated chamber, air gapped, everything they wanted. They would not allow it because it wasn't Stratasys and it wasn't Stratasys ABS. And I know, Luke, but peak and peck, I know, right? There are those of us out there that just want to go higher temp because we can. And I'm here for it. We often get orders for peak, peck, and Ultem. But we're in that industry. The vast majority of people that are backing, the 74 people that are backing this thing, I don't think they are. I think they just want a machine that's capable of it. Right? I would argue
also, we don't know if they're real people. Like, inflated numbers are a thing common to Kickstarter. So we don't know if this is employees being told to buy it.
It was a $1,600 Kickstarter. They don't need it.
Yeah, like, for the price of their Kickstarter goal is cheaper than the machine behind me. And that is also a red flag. Yeah. Like, if they are going through manufacturing, and they're not a big company.
No.
There are a couple of signs that they've purged their previous website of their other printer. which that's fine. They're rebranding. Nothing I can really say about that. I've done that before. But it costs money to make a new product line, and it's not cheap. Like, we've spent upwards of 100 grand on setting up a production line, and our Kickstarter was only 30 grand. The question that you now need to ask is, if they don't have the money to properly set up a production line, what corners are they cutting to make it happen? And from the safety concerns that I've got, along with the exceedingly low Kickstarter goal, and plus the oversights, I sit back and I go, if I bought this printer, would I feel safe turning it on? And I just have to say no. And it does hurt me to say, because I feel like a shill on the other way. Like, I'm shilling good company versus bad company. Don't do this because It's not even about that. This is the maker saying, the rails have no back support. The Raspberry Pi chip is inside a chamber that gets hotter than the chip's ambient acceptable range. They've got an RGB LED strip in a 90-degree chamber. They do not make LEDs that go into that environment. They don't exist. I don't see
They're
any
using
thermal
silicone
protections
for their heater sock, and silicone off gases well before 450C. Do we even, we don't know about the safety protocol. I'm hoping they're using a PTC heater, but they might not be, right?
I don't think they are. I think they're doing something else, because most of the PTCs I see only go to 350.
90
and they're going
chamber
500.
temps? That's going to piss off motors.
Yeah. Most motors are only, it's not class H, class B rated, 130 degrees. You add 40 to 50 degrees on top of whatever your ambient temperature is, that is the temperature that you can run. So most of the time, 60-degree ambient temperature, 130-degree motor. Good. If you wanted to go to class C, where it's 140 or 150-degree motor, then I could probably see it working in this machine. But I'm still concerned, because I don't think they've done that. And I think they're literally just doing it's rated for this temperature exactly. Let's push it to this temperature exactly. And that's it. Like, there's too many oversights for me to sit back going, yeah, they've done a good job.
And like, as a company, I have nothing against them utilizing Kickstarter, right? Like, this is their first Kickstarter according to Kickstarter, right? They've never backed any other Kickstarters.
They're a small company.
They are a small company.
Which is good.
However, this is an out of left field thing to start with. And I don't know. I worry a lot. I worry a lot because there are a lot of ways this can go wrong, and people don't understand like what a print failure out of peak costs. Like,
your roll of peak will cost more than it costs them to make the machine.
I have to cover something.
That's the easy way to say.
This is a print failure that I had recently. This part, 450 grams. If that was peak, that's a $600 failure. Peak's about $1 a gram. You can get peak for less. Let me check 3DX Tech, because that's if you're looking
at a good brand to go to.
If you're looking at buying exotics, just buy from 3DX. I don't know many others that sell like they do. So let's just do their Thermex Peak. 1 kilo. Oh, okay. $558. So it's actually not bad. So it's about 50 cents a gram.
That's still expensive, though.
That's a ton. And, having a 400 gram failure, that matters. 55 cents a gram, yeah.
Hell, if you are doing a print job where buying this printer means you print that material and you earn your money back instantly and they're happy with the quality, do it. I'm not going to be the last person to say don't do it because I don't trust the machine. No, do it. It's money. Just be aware of what you're buying. You're the one that knows better than we do because you're the one that's in your position. Just be aware of what you're buying. Like, from my perspective, this is an unsafe machine at best.
Yeah, and I want...
At worst, and actually I should go a bit further. The reason I think it's unsafe is they're not looking at data tech sheets for equipment. Their cloned beacon probe has a max temperature that the bed gets higher than, meaning it will overheat. The Raspberry Pi chip has a very simple, this is the temperature you can run it at. And the chamber goes above that. The lights go above that. The linear rails don't look like they have expansion gaps. So when that chamber gets hot, that frame will grow. And it doesn't look like they've considered that. And it's the fact that there doesn't look like there's considerations for the technical requirements for what they're doing. That's where I go, okay, that's the bit I can see. What's the bits they can't see? Like, could they have done a Quiddy and made their own SSR chip that overheats to save a couple of bucks? Maybe. Do I think they have the technical skill to pull that off if they did that? Hell no. Because they've shown in other areas they're overlooking aspects that should really be considered. That is why I don't like this Kickstarter. Is it the right place for Kickstarter? Yes.
It is the right place. Yes.
Could this be their learning journey? Because that is what Kickstarter's for, is to let a company grow.
But don't learn with this level of a machine. Build a +4 a +4 competitor. Also, Luke, I need better nozzles for the +4. Please. Help us, Luke. You're our only hope. Help.
How long have you been waiting to make that joke?
Way too long.
Way too long.
And actually, he's not my only hope. We already have a board ready to go. I just need to find a company that can make me a pigtail with the microfit connectors on them. But Madam Vega from the Cheaty Discord has made an adapter board that directly uses the Q1 Pro hot end from Cheaty.
Oh.
And because it's the exact same length.
Interesting.
So you just bolt that in instead. It just uses different connectors. And so most people will just cut and resolder connectors, but I don't want to do that. And so I would rather sell boards with little conversion things. But we also want to do that for bamboo. So, yeah, I want to do that for bamboo hot ends. Because, one, the Pika hot end, I have some niceties there. But things like Diamondbacks, the High Flow Revo Obsidian, and things like that, there's a lot of value to having extra choices. And, you know, the Q1 Pro just makes sense because it's everything that the +4 has. The problem with the bamboo hot ends is that they use thermistors, and the +4 uses a thermocouple. Yep. And so that's a bit of a bummer. And I'm legitimately at a point where I might just end up buying a 22 IDEX or an HT90 because I need another chamber heated printer, at least another one, if not another 3 or 4. To get through some of the work that we have right now. And
so what I'm hearing is I need to rush along Construct 2 and just make you an early tester. As you already love to say that you love being a beta tester.
I'd write you a check.
But that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Like you must, we will pay you to make it happen. Like we're not going to get you to do it for free, but it'll be good shipping.
If I just I would throw $100 bills, but what is that worth? 20 quid now? I'll just throw $100 bills at the
To be honest,
at the camera.
You show them to me, they look fake to me.
Yeah,
it looks like Monopoly money.
$100 says the person with plastic money.
Our plastic money is so much cooler than your icky just green everything money.
Yeah. It has a plastic strip in it, but that is an American $100 bill.
Do you even have a holo on it?
Yes.
Like a holographic?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, a proper holographic? No.
Oh, I'm going to get our money now.
I forget all like the fancy stuff on US hundreds. This is like a bit
the
of
fact you think it's fancy is what
a bit of business tip while Jacob's getting cash, but a bit of business tip. Keep cash, especially like 20s, 50s, and 100s available at all times as a business, because if you happen to be like me and you spend way too much time on Facebook Marketplace, have cash ready to go so you can lowball people on Facebook Marketplace.
Shall I do a small denomination or a big denomination?
Go with the big.
Okay. So the neat thing is all our safeties are exactly the same. Like we don't change the level of safety on any of them. Let me get rid of my background.
Oh,
So there we
apparently I
go.
have to hit US money with the UV
Okay.
light, but I don't.
So that is ours. It will not focus because my camera is ass. So we have a see-through window
Yep.
with a holographic in it.
Yep.
Holographics on multiple areas. We have the constellation yellow dots, which barely show up. We've got micro texturing on all of the printed surfaces. So the back is smooth, the front is
Yeah,
micro
we're not that
textured.
cool.
It's great. Oh, and it does have the UV strip. It has two UV strips, I believe, in two separate colors, just in case. Oh, and there is an embossed and stamped clear bit, and that says the denomination of the currency in it as well.
Very nice.
And it's
Luke,
the same on the 5, all the way to the 20, to the 50, and even I believe there's a new Scottish 100 coming out soon. So
now they're going to
money.
have the
And it's
king on them,
plastic.
right? Because they're not going to have the queen on
Yes.
them anymore, are they?
Yeah. But yeah, and it's plastic, so you can put it in the wash and you don't have to worry about it. And it doesn't degrade. So it's really nice.
Well, that would be money laundering, and that's illegal unless you're rich.
Back in there they go. That is the I really need to get something done, and they've just shown up at the front door money. So again, as a company, have cash on hand.
Yep.
Even if you are an online only business that deals with bank accounts and you can PayPal whatever you want, have it doesn't even need to be much. There's only like 200 quid in here. Have cash on hand.
I normally
because
keep
you
at
never
least
know
500.
when you need it.
Yeah, I normally keep at least 500.
If you're a bigger company, just do £1,000. Because £1,000 can nearly get you 100% of everything every time. 500 gets you a lot of things. But honestly, this money has come in handy so many times where, for example, we got our engineering granite surfaces. They showed up. They were so much heavier than the shipment said they were. They were supposed to be 55 kilos each. They were 110 kilos each.
That's a lot.
There was
That's a
3
big
of them.
difference.
I go to the gym rarely. I know. You look at me, it does not look it.
Oh, I'm
not
properly
very good.
swole, okay?
I can easily
Oh, wait,
pick
that's
up
just my
60
ego,
kilos as long as I don't do anything afterwards. These were 110. I could feel the discs in my back slipping trying to pick it up. This money bribed the delivery man to help me move them into the back of my clapped out 2002 Honda Civic. That is worth it because I didn't throw my back just for some quid.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. $20, some beer and some pizza. You can get a lot done. You can get a lot done. I don't want to talk about what I got on stream, but you saw what I picked up on stream, right?
I saw what you picked
Or you
up.
saw what I picked up in the Discord, right?
Yep.
The dude's like, oh yeah, take a look around. If you see anything, you can buy it. I found a very Florida man thing. I put it in the chat. It was $10, and
You just had to.
You
just straight up had to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, certainly. Yeah, I want more chamber heated printers. I want more high temp printers. However, I want printers that are safe, right? So like I look at the +4 and say, I've tested my +4 enough to be reasonably confident to leave it running when I'm not around. However, I can't trust those nozzles, right? If Cheaty can just do better on their hot end cooling and put a better hot end on it, just use a bamboo hot end for God's sakes, and you're good. You're done. That's it.
Yep.
And I would say the +4 is a great machine for the money. Now, the +4 was a $700 printer. Then it was a $750 printer. Then it was an $800 printer. Now it is an $850 printer. I was looking at the Q1 Pro. The Q1 Pro was a $400 printer. Now it's a $500 printer. And my Q1 Pro continues to have problems. But, yeah, and I guess Luke, what size? Luke's got the stable bot. Luke, we can talk about a stable bot if you want. Certainly I'm open to it, but realistically, as long as it's got a bamboo build plate around that size, I can air gap it and it's got a chamber heater. I'm down. I'm totally down. Luke said I'm not a good choice for him. Okay. Fine. I see how it is. I got like 60 kilos arriving for client orders, but okay, I see how it is.
I wonder if he
Uh,
was responding to someone in the chat. Never know.
maybe, but
Never know.
that's not now. I'm so
Hey, it's okay.
confused.
We can talk more about Luke.
Yeah.
When it's his segment of the show.
Is it his segment of the show?
I don't know. It's basically
It
his
is!
segment of
The
the
next
show
one
right
is
now.
Luke's! Yeah, the
I'm
Pika.
gonna kick it off. Hey Luke, I'm gonna send you an email. I really like your Pika thing, and I want the CAD so I can see if I can make it work in like a custom hot end design for us. Like just straight up, I love it.
Oh, Luke
I love
thinks
the design. I love the ethos. It's
Luke
just great.
Luke thinks I need fit and finish. Brother, have you seen me? I don't need fit and finish. I need shit that works. That's what I need. I need printers that I can click print on. They're reliable and they work. I don't care any further. That's it. I don't care if they're ugly. I run a business. I'm not a hobbyist at this point. Okay, then we can talk. Yeah, I don't need them to look pretty. Quite frankly, I don't like printers that look pretty because in looking pretty, they're often a metric pain in the ass to work on.
Oh, you saying mine are awful? I see what it is.
I
You just
mean,
don't like me anymore.
I've never worked on yours, so.
We can make that change.
Oh, Luke said I heard the commentary on scanners and wanted to make sure we're a good fit. So again, I care about software, and that's what Orca Slicer's for.
Yeah.
Right? As long as the machines are reasonably easy to work on, I don't need something very large. And I'm trying to keep my costs down. I don't need to, but it'd be nice if I can. But realistically, it has to have a chamber heater. It has to be enclosed, and it has to be insulated. And from there, I don't really care. Right? It doesn't have to look pretty. Quite frankly, if it's got roughly the same styling as my shelving, I'm happy with it. But let's talk about this Pika. So it's a high-performance hot-end designed for Bamboo Lab printers. 36% faster, same print quality, no compromises. So it's a titanium heat break. They've got supported wings. They support the copper heat block for maximum reliability. So that keeps your heat break from being your main issue. 33 millimeter melt zone. They've got a fin nozzle.
So, do you know what fin is? Because I saw that look in your eyes.
No, not a clue.
So, fin is the Slice Engineering new nozzle standard that they've open sourced. Yes, this is another standard for everyone to not use. But it's just, I believe it's entirely around how the silicon sock mates with the nozzle, so you don't get any like ingress points for material leakage. It actually does look quite neat. It does look quite neat, and I do like the fin nozzle system. Will it be adopted? That is still to be seen because it's Slice Engineering. It's their standard. It has advantages. That's the main. Oh, and Luke just put in it has other advantages, which is great. I like it. I don't know enough about it to really give a mindset on. Probably Luke in the chat can probably please make me a list and then I can describe it out to you. But other than that, it's a nice nozzle standard that Slice designed, and it looks cool.
Yeah,
the main thing is not compatible with V6, I don't think, because I think it's a M5 thread, which is kind of the only issue I have, because I really want to put off-the-shelf CHT nozzles.
Yeah,
In it instead
yeah,
of
it would be
fin
nice to
nozzles.
have like available off the shelf. Looks like I already have CHT nozzles, but maybe there'll be decent third party support. Who knows? But yeah, like they're gonna have a pure
CHT is
tungsten.
already supported. Even better.
Okay, and it looks like there'll be a pure tungsten carbide, which is what I'm gonna do. Like at a certain point, I don't care if all I'm doing is printing abrasives. I just want a nozzle that I don't have to swap out. Bondtech Diamondback ready to make. Oh, done. Great. Diamond it is.
Brilliant.
And please, Diamond CHT when. Please.
Seriously, that is the thing I'm waiting for. If they do Diamond, CHT, Volcano, I'm set. That's it.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, you don't need Volcano. You just get longer melt length. No, imagine. Let's take the Pika Hot End, for example. 33 millimeters of melt zone.
That's a pretty
what if
decent
you
melt
swapped
zone.
out? It's a good melt zone.
Yeah.
But imagine if you took out the Pika nozzle. and you put a volcano nozzle in and you put a little melt extender. Oh, 38 millimeters of melt zone with a CHT with diamond. Oh.
That's now a new fan shroud, all this other stuff you gotta
Yeah, I don't care.
do, and
I'm making custom. I don't care. I just want that high flow diamond
they're already
volcano
running
on
so
everything.
Luke's already claiming with the steel tip micro Swiss CM2, 45 millimeters cubed per second.
And that's good. That's really good.
That's a fast, like,
You'll be running to the limits of the heater at those speeds.
No, yeah, you're gonna run.
And that makes me
limits.
happy.
And that's Ambrosia ABS at a 260C nozzle. So that's 0.28
that's good
layer height,
as well.
0.7 millimeter width for infill, 0.4 nozzle, 2 walls. I have the Obsidian high flow Revo, or I'm sorry, Obsidian high flow bamboo hot end. Love it, absolutely love it. Other than printing abrasives, then I toss on my 0.6 Diamondback. Runs like a Swiss watch. Absolutely love it. Yeah,
I really like this. I like the titanium and the heat break. More companies need to use titanium. Looking at you, Quiddy. But like, it's just a really nice compact size. The fact that there's such a long melt zone in such a small package is a testament to the good design. The wings, I have no idea how they're designed to be functional. I trust them.
It's got to be 3D
and they
printed.
Are so cool. It could be lasered.
Oh yeah, it is. It is a little bit of laser cut titanium.
I love it. I think it's so smart and neat and just ingenious.
That's
and they
brilliant.
are laser cut. We guessed it.
Yeah, I was wrong the first time, but then I was right, so I'm calling it right.
Because the biggest issue with expensive long blocks is they bend. Like, if you do a mistake, they bend and they're ruined.
That's the biggest problem with bamboo hot ends, period. Is that because the machine moves so fast, if there's even a little part sticking up, whack! And if it bends even a little bit, it throws the rest of the print off. And it's a disaster. So, yeah.
Honestly, I love this hot end. This hot end announcement, especially from the fact it's coming out of Luke, is... It makes me actually question our nozzle decisions, because I kind of want to put this in ours now, or at least have a compatible version, because it is that interesting to me.
Is it bad that traditionally I don't do Kickstarters, and I'm like, oh,
I kind of want to do this Kickstarter.
I kind of want to, but then the other part of me is like, no, Grant, stop it.
Construct 3D.
It's like, no, Grant, stop it. Spend the real money when it's, give Luke more money, right? Like.
But then at the same time, if you do it in the Kickstarter, it shows popularity, which could get more money.
But I'd rather just give Luke more money and do it real. Oh
no, Luke, you shouldn't have said that.
They can make
arbitrary hot ends. Luke, you should not have said that. I have too many ideas.
I don't know where Wrightstown, Wisconsin is, but I intend to go out there. I'm going to walk in and be like, where's this son of a bitch named Luke? I'm just going to kick open the door. No, Luke's lab with the Pika, this is an ideal Kickstarter. This is exactly what I want to see in a Kickstarter. It hilariously has the highest risk.
Yeah.
Out of all the Kickstarters we're talking about, this one has the highest risk. Maybe Ellie Archie has higher.
I would have said this is the highest risk, except I know what goes in to the Luke's lab mindset. They bought a Swiss lathe already. This probably has one of the lowest risks.
I'm aware.
If I didn't know that, I would say this is the highest.
I have to remove the fact that I know Luke. I have to remove the fact that I trust Luke. And I have to sit here and say that if we look at it from, just at face value, Luke's is the riskiest, if not the second riskiest on it.
Yeah.
Because there isn't, millions of dollars of VC funding that guarantees that this stuff basically occurs. Right? Yep. However, I've met Luke. We've spoken. I've never been out to Luke's place, and I don't own any of Luke's products. But I have faith, hilariously, that Luke can't screw people. Because if he does, it's the end of his business. He'll lose all credibility, and that's it. It's over. For these bigger companies, they can get away with it because they can pay enough money to make the problem go away, Yuffie. For small businesses, dude, Kickstarter, you better know
Kickstarter is the correct place for Luke, but
Yeah.
it's also the highest risk because of it.
Yep. Yeah.
But I like it. I'm happy to see this on Kickstarter. This is like
I am.
the whole reason Kickstarter is here. Is you know the face of the person who's doing it. You like the project. You like the person. You want to support it, even if you know you could get nothing from it or it could just fizzle into nothing. And that I'm happy with.
And if this hot
because
end,
I know what's going into it.
if this hot end's going to be sub $150, you know, kind of right in line with the E3D high flow obsidian, I'm in.
Easy.
Right now, if it's more expensive, I'm gonna probably wait and see, because like I don't need it, I want it. But if it is sub $150 retail, I'm in. 100% sub 150 USD. There you go.
Brilliant. I'm in.
Confirmed. Yeah, like, dude, that's. I mean, if it's sub
I want to
150,
see more of this.
if it's sub 150 USD with a hardened CHT in it, you're gonna piss off E3D. And Luke, is it possible to get your hot end with a thermocouple in it? Please. Please. You know, Luke, if you want to be extra special and be like extra good friends with me, if you can just have your heater and your thermistor be a 2x2 Molex microfit that fits the +4, that'd be great. You know, just have an option for it. Because, like, you know, it's basically a drop-in. Just saying. It's doable. Because, like, the boards... So the problem with the boards right now, one, there's really no decent circuit board manufacturing in the United States that is going to let me do, like, 5 pieces to test. So they get tariffed like crazy. We're not ready to go into production yet of it. And I got to find a company that can do a whip for me. Some sort of either a 2x2 Molex microfit extension cable or, you know, something like that. But yeah, like, Luke, since you're making them yourself, I think that would be ideal to just have one that's the +4 variant. And maybe you have a slightly longer heat break or slightly longer heat sink to deal with, you know, the longer heat sink area that the +4 can have. But there's a lot of value there when you're making it yourself that you can do those mods. And so I'm just going to once again beg and plead. Look, if it works for Bondtech and the Index, it should hopefully work for Luke. I have a shop to make custom cables for you. Please let me know. Because, yeah, I want to get some made. Because, yeah, we're between... So right now, the way that Vega wants it done, she has it further down on the +4 where there's just, like, random screws for no reason. And it will fit into there. The way I wanted to do it was with a micro fit on board. So you just plug it in and then you can plug in right to where it is. But the problem
Someone's
is...
at my front door. I'll be right back.
Okay. I can keep going. But the problem is we've got wire lengths are different. So having the daughter board be a little bit away from where the +4 plugs in means you have to have some sort of extension cable. So he doesn't have thermocouple sourcing. I'm not certain that's going to be too difficult. But again, I would want it to either be the bamboo connector or just have it be the +4 connector. So, yeah, I don't have any sourcing for thermocouples. I mean, they're not expensive, right? I can't imagine they're too much of a pain, and we do know what they are on the +4. So, options, obviously, but I think with a new hot end, the +4 would be a much better printer. Just overall, it would be a much better printer. The hot end is absolutely, and specifically the nozzle, is specifically the problem that the +4 has. If we can solve that problem, yeah, we're golden. Luke said, I don't anticipate it to be hard. I just don't know what I don't know. Totally understand that. Wild Mo says, Pika is a nice product on Kickstarter, but I got rid of all my bamboo machines. Yeah, and that's fair. The nice thing is a lot of manufacturers are going to bamboo style hot ends, and there might be either mods that you can do that will allow you to mod in a bamboo hot end, or, because again, these are custom made, Luke can basically put out an interest form to see what other printers he should make stuff for, and then boom, he can make them. Steve C says, I have an electronic engineer that owes me a favor. This stuff isn't even that complicated. And like, if I need to, I've got the Molex crimpers. I can go buy all the right components and do it myself. I just don't want to, because as a business that is looking to retail this product and sell it, right, and sell these conversion kits for the +4 to work with other hot ends, I don't want it to be something that I have to manually do. I want to be able to buy in the product, raise the price a little bit, and then sell it out. Because as a reasonably solopreneur, like, we have a team, but locally I work alone. My time is very, very limited, and time is my biggest resource. So if we're going to be doing these kits, like, we're going to look at like JLC or PCB way to handle the PCBs. If we need to get custom whips made, I'm going to get them custom made. Am I okay making some for myself to try out? Absolutely. But if I can have a company do it for us, and then all we do is be the retailer on that side, I'm fine with it. We're going to brand them. Yeah, and I'm paying everyone that's involved in this project, whether or not they choose to accept money, they are getting paid. So, yeah. Luke Slipe says, I have 3 +4s, and it's definitely high priority for next, but the Centauri Carbon is also on that list.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't have a Centauri Carbon. I like the Centauri Carbon, but I wish it had a chamber heater.
The only thing that they're really missing, especially is, we talked about it 2 streams ago, and I cannot remember which printer it was, but it looked like a Centauri Carbon, but with a heater. And it was coming out
Yeah, it was like
$50 more.
It was like the Anycubic M1 Pro.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not available now, and I'm gonna be Veruca Salt. I need it now. Like, if you told me that machine was available now, and it's gonna ship, where do I put in my credit card?
Yep.
But the +4 305 by 305 by 265. They say 285. Don't print 285. Go 265. It's, for the money, it is a very difficult machine to beat. It's a very difficult machine to beat. Because again, it's like sub $1,000. So, Luke said, I also enjoy adding beak into my +4 for Perfecto first layers. I have not needed that yet. My +4 doesn't have issues with its first layer, so I'm not doing it.
You are lucky, because
Yeah.
I've heard quite a few things about it.
Yeah, I have an earlier revision of the +4. So, like, I still have one with the stainless steel heat break. And that's the nozzle that I'm running in my machine right now, because I know I'm not
at least that one won't snap.
Yeah, but it does seem to have other issues. His went PEI mining a few times. Yep. Yeah, so, all right, Luke, solve this problem. Just remove that PEI. So take a scraper, get it underneath that PEI plate, pry it up. There are 2 screws. Screw them all the way down. That stupid PEI wiper plate is the most useless thing on that 3D printer. Get rid of it. The next thing to do, take a pair of cutters, or if you got a die grinder, and grind flat the little metal thing that's supposed to clean the filament off. No, if it's even slightly to the side, cracked hot end. You're done. But Chidi's saying that hot end is supposed to last for 1 to 3 months is absolutely ridiculous. They're stupid.
Such a small period of
said
time.
mine the build plate.
Oh.
No, I haven't had that problem.
Mm. Don't have any fixes for you there, my friend.
No, the stupid PEI wiper plate on those machines is garbage, though. I super glued mine down. The super glue eventually failed. Cheaty showed me how to adjust it, so I just cranked it all the way down. You can't even see it anymore. But yeah, they have a little tiny plate. It's like this big for nozzle wiping. And it is stupid. It is stupid, stupid, stupid. Huh. And Luke said, yeah, that's why I needed beacon. All issues gone. And it's like, at these printers being this cheap as a business, we're totally willing to put our time into it because we know that all the other options are like a Construct 2, a Stable Bot, right? Where they're 10x the price.
They are not
And
within that price category.
even with a Pika, even though the +4 I have mine running at like 24 to 27 on different materials, a Pika will double that. It's not 10x that. It'll double that. So, yeah. I do think that Luke is purely what Kickstarter is for.
Yep.
And so for Luke, I say that it is not an evil. It is a necessity. Right? Luke said, yeah, I can't compete with their costing. It's why I build big. Yep.
Yep.
I wish I could send you photos of the parts that we made, Luke, but it was 2 foot by about 18 inches by about 10 inches thick, 10.5 kilos. Yes, it was dead solid.
That is right up his avenue. He'd love that.
Yeah, okay, so 500 cube is the smallest, he quotes. So that's a problem for me because I don't know if that fits through a man door. And I need whatever machines that we have to fit through a man door because they're not staying in this shop much longer. And every shop that we're having, it will be limited to a man door. Okay, as long as... Oh, so that's breakfast for us. As long as your printer fits through a man door, like a standard size door, I'm fine with it. If it doesn't fit through a standard size door, I have to be a little bit more conscious. Okay, it does fit. Okay. Because, yeah, like, that's the big thing for me is I need it... Anywhere that we go, I need it to be able to fit through the effing door. So, all right, we can chat. It might be too rich for my blood at the moment. It fits by 6 millimeters. Jesus, that's tight.
That I like that.
But I can pull the door off the hinges too, so that's no big deal. But yeah, I do believe that the Pika fulfills what I want in a real Kickstarter. And that's a big
It's
deal.
nicely done. Like the whole point of Kickstarter was support where it's needed, where it matters. The money for Pika in Kickstarter is going to go directly to developing that product. If it's the development of the company behind it or the product itself, that's the whole point of it. Like, it is the journey, and that journey has multiple areas. And Luke, with the Pika and just the way that they're set up, this is the perfect place for it. Like, your money will directly impact that business outcome. And Eufy won't. They don't care. Yes, they'll sell products, but that's it. But they don't really care. Neither does Bamboo Lab or anyone else. But for Luke's Laboratory, for the Pika Hot End, this is going to change the bottom line.
Yeah, it's a
and
real
your support
Kickstarter.
means something. There's a difference in feeling. Like,
It's not just a
Kickstarter is a
pre-order
marketing
with
avenue.
extra
It's just, oh yeah, let's
steps.
pre-order with some extra things.
Yeah.
This actually feels like you are supporting the person.
You are!
Because it is. It is supporting the person and the company, and your support will make them successful or not. And that's what I really like about it, because this feels so much better
and here's
than
where
any of the other Kickstarters.
Here's where it gets more fun. There's unlikely to be surprise tariffs. I can't say that there's no guarantee of surprise tariffs, but there is unlikely to be surprise tariffs because it is made in America. And that's got value too. We will be live stream parts being made. Ooh, okay. So
oh, hell yeah. Oh, something spicy? Spicy?
Yeah. Thought? I don't recommend you do this.
Oh.
I used to do this. And all it will become is chat trying to find every single thing that fails on your machine. That's all it will be.
Yes,
it will be
that
them
is
trying to find failures and you getting a phone call because, oh, hey, the part failed. Yeah, I know. I'm already working on it. Leave me alone. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do want to see Swiss Mill do Swiss Mill things, especially because you have a 9-axis, so you absolutely have
Ooh.
yeah, he absolutely has, like, you know, live centers and live tooling and all that. It's like, oh hell yes. Like, please, please CNC daddy, show me. But there is like that weird content thing of, do you also want to show off your failures? The other thing that you're doing by live streaming the machine is you're showing your competition how to copy you. And while technically it would be very difficult for them to figure it out, we've seen crazier things, right?
Yep.
I do think it's
Always
cool.
assume anything you show will be copied
Yes.
at some point.
Absolutely take video of it, make content with it. You absolutely should. And if you want us to come out, honestly, if you cover my cost to get out there, we'll do the filming for free. I will not charge you for the filming. But help me on the travel and, you know, we're cool. But, like, I want to see how it's made. I don't need to watch it being made all the time. So, Mitch 3D said, Luke's Laboratory, can we call you CNC Daddy? Okay, here's the deal. If we just keep calling him that, the name sticks. It doesn't matter. Whether he wants it or not, the name just sticks. But yeah, we used to live stream the full color sandstone machines. We do not do that anymore. We do not do that anymore. Now, their chances of failure are much higher. So, you know, and Luke said, nothing I'm doing is unique other than engineering it well. Well, Luke, that's the unique part. That's the unique part. The unique part is that you're engineering it well. And so I'm sure there's a little bit of something here or there. Look, you can do what you want. I'm not going to stop you, but personal experience, I don't know. Live streaming machines causes more problems than it solves. So
It's fun, but there's costs.
Yeah.
Just keep it in mind.
So yeah, I think that with the appropriate Kickstarter disclaimer, right? Don't bet with money that you're not willing to throw away. I would think that out of all the machines that we've talked about, the Luke's Lab one is
This is the one I'm
that
excited for.
Like, I look at it and say, hell, I might throw some cash into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, this is not the lowest risk one in this entire lineup.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably one of the highest, ignoring the Eliarchi is dangerous. But this one feels correct. This is the one that I would be putting my money towards.
Yeah.
And I will give, that is the Jacob endorsement right there, is when I'm willing to put my money on the line, because I don't have lots of it, and I would put it on the line for this.
I can't outwardly support Kickstarters. That's difficult, right? It is difficult to outwardly support Kickstarters.
I support people. I prefer
that is
people.
Correct. I also support people. People are what we support, and I support Luke. I believe what Luke is doing is important and valuable and useful to the industry, and so I will support that. I understand that Luke's choosing of Kickstarter has some positives and negatives associated with it, but I think in Luke's specific move, it makes sense. So, Luke, I will give you an open invite to the show. You will have a couple of options. Obviously, you can do it before the launch, during the launch, or after the launch. It is up to you. Just let us know so we can be prepared and have everything ready for you. But you have an open invite to the show. But no, we're not going to ask easy questions, and we're not going to go easy on you, right? If anything, we're going to go harder on you because we know you. So be prepared, bring your A game, and we'll have some fun. And it's live, so It is what it is, homeboy. And like, look, I got a 3-piece up properly, but I've got a 3-piece one. We can put 3 people in a show. It ain't no big deal. It ain't no big deal. We could easily do it. So yeah, we'd love to have you on. Luke said, I love hard questions.
Honestly, it'd be fun.
Answer openly. I think it would be fun.
And plus that mindset of just answer openly, that's what we want. That's what we like. That's why I'm here, is because I don't know when to shut my mouth instead of just answering honestly.
Honestly, it's true.
And it works. Don't go full corporate. Don't sanitize yourself.
No. Never sanitize yourself. Right. Look, the same way that my cat is on my website as the director of marketing and director of HR, have a little fun, dude. Like, yeah, it's not like perfectly professional, but who gives a shit? Like, honestly, like at this point in your career, you want people that are going to follow you because they care, not follow you because, you know, you've got a bunch of money. We follow you and like you because you care about this industry. You make products that are valuable to the industry. And this is, as far as I'm aware, one of your first kind of entrances into the more consumer-focused market. And that is scary, right?
It's very cutthroat.
Luke mostly plays in the prosumer, light industrial, and heavy industrial markets, right? Which are much more low volume and high value. The consumer market is a low value, high volume. And the Pika, if it's under 150, that puts it underneath a high flow obsidian. So I think it actually will become a good standard. And I would like to see it become a good standard because I want to see more stuff from small businesses. And yeah, consumer focus is terrifying. Really, the biggest issue with consumers, it's the consumers and all the damn questions they're going to have because they're morons, right? How many times have you reached out to a support person because you didn't know what was going on and the solution was so easy, you felt embarrassed that you asked it? So many times.
And now you're on the receiving end of that. Yeah. You're not the one asking the embarrassing question. You're going to be getting them.
Yep.
And there's going to be lots. If you thought you've made a good product, wait until you release it.
Like if
all of a sudden you see the limitations in your product very quickly.
Like if they mount the fan the wrong way on the hot end and it heat creeps like a mofo, right? Like if you can have a little sticker that says me face hot end, me face heat sink. There you go. That's amazing.
Luke's just said it's guaranteed to be lower than $125. That's good. That's strong. That's real strong.
Hold on.
Make sure you're making enough profit though.
Is that retail or is that Kickstarter?
Oh. That's a good point.
Yeah. He said, it's why we invested in a help desk ticketing system.
And don't undervalue yourself. That's such an easy thing to do, especially when you think you're going to consumer world.
Yep.
Is undervaluing what you're actually bringing.
Yep.
Don't do it because you're not just undervaluing the product and earning less money, but you're still competing in the same market space as everyone else. So if we take the E3D Obsidian High Flow Bamboo version, you're competing against their marketing no matter what the price is. And there's only so much people know of. So unless your price is very much lower to the point where it's so cheap everybody knows of it, you might end up just losing money.
Yep.
Like you could have made a theoretical $15 more with zero change in your sales. And at that point, that's where you have to really nail that price. Obviously, you can change the price, but don't undervalue yourself. The quality you bring is unique, and that has a price.
And MSRP 125 or lower, so the Kickstarter will likely be a little bit lower than that. Nice. Good job.
Though you don't have to do Kickstarter as lower. If you know the quality you're making, you don't have to do Kickstarter as like an early bird and all that. To be honest, the type of people that are buying your stuff, they probably won't care. They probably just want to support you. Now, that doesn't mean, listen to me, because I ran a successful in the weakest.
No, ultimately, we're just two idiots on the internet, right? That's.
I
Who
want
are
to see
we?
you succeed. That's the main thing.
We do. We want to see
That is the
everybody
main
succeed.
thing.
But we want to see people succeeding properly and not taking advantage of platforms because they exist. And Luke is obviously not doing that. Luke is utilizing Kickstarter for what it's for. And honestly, that's what makes me want to see him succeed more, is because he's using it properly where so many other companies don't. Because, like, Eufymake will get funded in, I give it an hour before it gets funded.
Oh, probably
XTool
less.
Metal will probably be funded within seconds. The Revo Point Trackit, hours. Eliarchi, they needed two
Instant
machines.
because
Two machines.
their price is fake.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoy this, Luke. I am excited to see your Kickstarter when it goes live.
Yep.
You know, I would love to get one. I mean, I'm gonna back it. I'm gonna make the call. I'm gonna back it. I'm gonna back it.
I need to ask, are you shipping to the UK? If so, I will back it.
If not, I'll back 2 and I'll ship you 1.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
There you go. See how that works? My box for Jacob is getting larger.
This box is becoming a crate.
You might need to get 2 boxes.
Oh.
I mean, how else am I going to send
do
you
to
crappy
you?
American candy, Jacob?
I'm so looking forward to it. Mum absolutely hates American candy now, and I really want to torture her more.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So bad.
Oh.
Luke said, "Yes, sir. We're gonna have tours as soon as the machinery runs, and worldwide." Wait,
Hell yeah.
wait!
You
It's
got one for me,
Mr.
then.
Worldwide. It's Mr. Worldwide CNC Daddy. We will use the tube distribution network. Okay, yes. Anyone that carries the tube, you'll be able to get the Pika. Nice.
Fantastic. That's really well done.
And
honestly, the big thing for Kickstarter is logistics. This is just general advice for anyone. Logistics is what lets you down at the end. Everyone makes a good product. They make a good first prototype. It's when they scale up to logistics, that's where the delays happen. And the fact that you already have those logistics mostly in place, you'll be fine. Honestly, You'll be fine.
Yep. And I mean, literally, we talked about it on Printfix Friday just this past week of FedEx shattering H2Ds by dropping them. And like, you can do all the effort in the world that you want to make something safe, and it will just fail. Nathan said, as a user experience researcher and designer, there is always a user that finds a new issue. Remember, the world will always build a better idiot. You think it's idiot proof? Just give it time. Just give it time. The world will build a better idiot. And I hate that. It's true. But just, yeah. The nice thing is the hot ends are really tiny. You don't have to do a lot to them to make them reasonably safe to ship. So life is good there. I'm not too worried about it. You know. But yeah, Luke,
I'd like to see one showing up bent somehow, just massively dented, and it's just bent, and you're like, really? On a part that big? And they somehow bent it.
Florida man here, I can do it, right? I've got hammers, right? Like, I've got hammers and time. I can make this happen.
Yeah, they drove a forklift into a tiny box. That will happen, by the way.
Yes.
It's not a if or when, it's a statistical certainty. You will have a forklift drive into the side of one of your packages at some point, and it will be sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, and with a hot end, a lot of like the safety side and the packaging side is pretty much handled, right? It's pretty simple. You know, with the hot end, it's PTC heater, right? There's tons of them that exist out there, and Luke can likely just work with bamboo to use real bamboo ones if he wants to. You know, so that the heater is safe. So as far as safety goes, you're done. Packaging, a little bubble wrap in a box, white box, and send it. Now, you can get nice, pretty packaging if you want, but if you're going to do that, when it open the box, I need to say Pika, or, you know, I need like a Pikachu, you know, I something like that just for fun, because, you know, that's funny. Luke says the tube packaging is just tubes on the outside for safety. Our hot end will be 500C rated copper anyways.
Yes. Oh. Now I just need to find a PTC heater that goes to 500. Because that would make a very nice hot
Oh
end.
God, it should say boo, because it's peekaboo.
Oh,
Oh
peekaboo.
God,
Yeah,
do
make
that.
that happen. Make it happen.
Look, if you send out review units to people like Joel has to get a review unit. It's Joel. They have a great relationship already. Joel and Luke with Joel's Blue Storm Terra, which is this Orange Storm Giga that Luke decided to just go hard in the paint on. If you send one to Joel, tell him to open it on camera and just put like a little thing that when you open it, it just says boo, right? Because it's peekaboo.
I was going to say, like, can't you get those little snakes that you open the tube and it just pops out? Just get one of them.
God, that would be so. If you send out review units, like make them kind of pranky. I'm so here for that. You gotta prank Joel.
That would be
somehow.
so fun.
You gotta prank Joel somehow. You got to. We love Joel, but he's got to get pranked somehow.
You put it in a steel tube and weld the corners shut.
Joel saw it in
There
person
you go.
at Rapid TCT. Yeah. Nero
Yeah.
did. We didn't make it out to Rapid. Financially, it was not possible, unfortunately. Yeah, I hope that Joel has a video on it. I assume that he does. I know Nero showed it off. We only saw one photo of it, and I'm like adding Luke's laboratory, and he's like, he's not in my Discord, damn it. And so I'm like over here trying to get more info at it because I need the info. I need the info so bad. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm tired.
The sugar is hit. The sugar rush. It's gone.
No, I've had nothing to eat today.
Oh, well, that'll explain
it's 2:45 in the afternoon. Like, it's not. And yes, Joel's 3D printing nerd. Yes.
Not to be confused with Joel in Texas or Joel from the Hacksmith or Joel. I can't remember the other Joel. What is the other Joel?
Yeah, what
There's
other
another
Joels do
Joel.
we have?
There's like 3 more Joels.
It's too many damn Joels.
There's lots of Joels. There's just this industry. It's Joel everywhere.
All Joels, all the time. Then there's Grant and Jacob.
Hi.
We're just normal people. Just ignore us.
We're normal.
Oh yeah, Polymaker Joel. Yep, there's Polymaker
That's it.
Joel.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, there's a lot of Joels.
There's a lot of Joels.
Oh. We can talk about the Creality Create Harlot X1, but I actually don't know enough about it to really comment on it properly.
The main thing was it's another Creality resin printer, which is generally okay. They've earned quite a lot on their Kickstarter, and one of the nice things I saw is it is a rebrand. So the Kickstarter goal is a decent value. So it's like, what is it, like 90k in USD? It's 75,000 British pounds. Oh, it's 100. Okay, so it's a relatively good bidding amount. So you know it's more legit. They're not gonna do a rug pull. Also, it's Creality, so you know they're not gonna do a rug pull.
It's such a different style of machine. The VAT moves, not the build plate.
And that's what I saw was really interesting, is the VAT moves.
Now, I worry about, like, tank leaks over here, because, like, now it's going to drip, right? Like, yep. I worry about that kind of stuff, but, you know,
See, I still think it's an MSLA printer, so I think they're moving the screen and the VAT at the same time.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I don't think they're projecting it to the bottom of the tank. I think they're just doing screen and VAT.
Yeah, you know, you're probably right.
I don't know the benefit of doing it that way, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, what is the benefit? I guess if they made their light source really thin, their printer can be shorter.
But
what's the bit? Oh my god, their light array. 10.1 inch 16K mono LCD. Resolution of 15,120 by 6230. So they are using rectangular pixels, 14 by 19 microns.
Oh, stop it with the rectangular pixels. Come on.
They're promising 6,000 microwatts per centimeter squared. So you can just call that 6 watts per centimeter squared. That's
Which
fine.
is a lot. That's
Yeah,
quite a lot.
that's a fair bit. Um,
One thing I really like about it, the bed. They're not
yeah,
using a
yeah,
flex
with
plate.
the
They're using an ejector plate.
hmm
And I love it because it fixes the main issue of flex plates, which is if you get a big sheet, it'll warp slightly, especially on bigger prints. And that can ruin prints, and that can ruin your FEP, that can ruin your screen. This fixes it. So I'm really happy with it. It is an interesting looking machine. It kind of does look a bit funky because I've never been a fan of the
screen on
Harlock
the screen on the top
colors.
too.
Yeah, it's not what I would class as a well-designed machine, even though it's well designed. Like the screen on the top is a bit and
It's
just the
weird.
shape is a bit but I like it. It's unique. It's quirky.
Man, their lowest
It the
was
screen and the bed.
their lowest price was $400. I mean, that's really not
Yeah,
bad. 519
really
with the resin
impressive.
refiller, and they're using RFID, but they're using it in the right way where it will identify it, but it doesn't appear that it loses anything. So,
Yeah.
again, I like it. Now, I guess I'm not entirely certain why Creality pushed for a new brand name.
So the PioCreate brand name is their industrial line, from what I'm aware
But
of.
this is not an industrial printer.
This is not. So I'm wondering if they're going more education with this.
Resin
And
is
that
not for education.
is not for education. Like maybe university, but it's not. Just because of the health concerns.
Right.
Now, could this be they're trying to do a larger transition away from Creality? Maybe. Like I know Fatus has two brands under and over them. So they've got Triangle Lab is the one underneath them, and Runis. I don't know if there's a D or not. Runis is
I
the
know
parent
about
company above them.
I know Triangle, but that's it.
Yeah, so there's one above and one below. So Runis owns Fatus. Fatus owns Triangle Lab, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but they are related in some way. I believe it's the same with Creality. Is Creality owns PioCreate or PioCreate 3D, if you really want to be pedantic about it.
Pio created
And
probably is how they're going to pronounce it,
yeah,
or Pio created.
and it does make me think that they're trying to do a partial rebrand, and I think that might be quite smart because Creality
Separate
in
the
my
entities.
head is not a resin printer brand.
No, they're
Like,
FDM.
it's not. It's FDM. And they've kind of also shot themselves in the foot that most of their brand recognition is cheap FDM. So if they want to branch out, they are fighting with the what do you call it? And if you
Yep,
go
yep.
Creality, I'm immediately going to think cheap corners cut on a safety thing. So I think it's quite smart to rebrand slightly. Are they doing it intentionally? I have no idea. I don't know what they're planning, but I do like the Harlot name is unique. PioCreate is its own unique brand. It's got no previous like mindshare, so they can start afresh. And
Yep.
other than the fact that I know for a fact it has existed for a while as industrial filament, mostly in China as domestic,
Yeah, I've never heard of the
it
brand before
doesn't
this.
leak out of domestic sales in China. So this is probably a smart decision, and I'm very interested to see where they go with it.
It's funny because they reached out and I had no idea who they were, so I didn't.
Really?
I didn't reply.
Oh,
I'm like, I've never heard of this
yeah,
company
it's
before.
Creality.
I don't trust them, right? And really, we're not big on resin. Like it's just, I have it, I use it because it's a necessity, not because I want to, right? So that's how I see it, at least.
Because PioCrate have made some very interesting looking, bigger format FDM machines.
Hmm.
They're not the I need to actually check last week's notes because I wrote their name down. They are not. Oh, did I write their name down? It should be under the Creality section of last week. Index, IBOS, Pantheon, Creality. Oh no, it was just Pyrocrate. I guess I
Yeah.
must have deleted it. Oh no, Mingda 3D. There we go. Mingda
Oh,
3D is
Mingda.
normally the one
Yeah.
that I think of when I think industrial domestic um printers in China. And Pyrocrate kind of are on their toes. Like they're slightly smaller, they're slightly more Creality-esque design methodology. Where Mingda is more, well, they look like better versions of the Orange Storm Giga, in my opinion. They look higher quality, more industrial focused. So seeing a Pyrocrate machine leaving the Chinese ecosystem is very interesting to me because China doesn't normally do that. They normally have a dedicated brand for overseas and a dedicated brand for internal. And it's kind of merging the lines a bit. I'm
It
interested to see
it
where it goes.
it could just have enough recognition at this point that it made sense, but I do think splitting the two brands made sense. Remove, because like what's Elegoo known for? They're known for 3D printers, but like previously Elegoo was known for resin. Now all of a sudden they're becoming, known a lot for their FDM, but
Yeah.
which one do you use, So having
And it's
the
also interesting because in my head, I now think of Elegoo slightly less. Just complete subconscious.
I
I know that
I think
nothing has changed,
the Giga
but
was such a
because they're doing
flop.
two things, the Giga was a
It
flop,
was a flop.
and now they're coming out with another printer. I'm now starting to think of, are they spreading themselves too thin when they haven't done anything very good so
No,
far?
but this is what Elegoo does. This is what these companies do. They push out new machines as often as they possibly can with new standards. So you have to buy new machines, new nozzles, new hot
Yep.
ends, all that, because the features that they can get on them are better. I do believe that Centauri Carbon is going to really kind of wake up the industry in
Mm,
terms of quality, but I'm worried that we're going to see some longevity issues with them because of their price.
yeah. But no, I think I would have rather have seen Elegoo make another brand,
Yeah.
even though they're the same people, just so there's no, as Shane has actually reminded me of the word stigma.
Yeah.
There's no stigma if you start a new brand where there is on their current brand, and it's not they're diluting their current brand, they're just not reinforcing the bits they need to reinforce, and it does feel a bit weird.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, I've got to give it to Creality and Create or Create 3D or
Whatever they want to call
Created.
themselves.
I like this move. I think it's nice to see another name in the market,
And because
even
this
though
is like
they're probably the same people.
and because this is, their first kind of go at, I'm going to go with stateside but worldwide distribution
Yep.
on a resin printer with a different name. You know what? Fine. Kickstarter's fine.
Yep.
Kickstarter's fine. Is there anything else we want to cover?
I think we've pretty much covered all of it. I think the other topics were just if we got further into
And we did.
talking
We
about the
covered them.
logistics of Kickstarter, and we've covered them. Like the main topic was Kickstarter logistics. If you're thinking about doing a Kickstarter, logistics will be the downfall, not the product, not what you're doing, not what anyone else is doing.
Or suppliers.
Logistics.
Dude, suppliers too. I mean, imagine if the world shuts down again for God knows what reasons, and
That happened to us. Do you remember that?
you all of a sudden have to find new suppliers for everything.
Yep.
So for everyone that looks to do a Kickstarter, unless you're vertically integrating, have at least 3 suppliers for everything. Have at least 3. Because
you need a backup for your suppliers, because there will be a time where your supplier folds. It could be environmental, it could be financial, it could just be timing.
Or they simply don't care about
you. Can't do them. Like, so we've had 2 major events that have caused our supplier network to be massively impacted, that if we didn't pre-plan for it, we would be screwed. One of them was the Evergreen that got stuck in the Suez Canal. Our first batch of metal was on that boat, and that was stuck there for a while. That put so many delays in. We had to source another metal supplier that used a different transport method. But because we already did half the legwork, we didn't do all of it because we didn't expect shipping to be destroyed.
Yep.
But because we already had a contingency, the damage it caused went from the company actually has to close to we just are delaying. And then we had trade sanctions with Russia, which absolutely destroyed our power supply company. We could no longer use power supplies. Our stock level went from 150 to zero in one email in 10 minutes. And we had to somehow get a power supply of the right quality, the right like certification in the right quantity, and the right price now that we have nothing. We had to ship machines. If you do not plan for these contingencies that should never happen, you will fail.
Yep.
There's a really good one, for example. So this is a really nice one. This is a roleplay game. So this is Tidebreak based on the Mothership rule system. It's a tabletop roleplay game. It's great. This is just paper. It's paper, cards in a nice little baggie, and there was a nice booklet to come with it. They had to keep delaying because their paper supplier ran out of paper. And there's another one. So this one, for example, the Whole Breach book, they had to delay because the packaging company ran out of packaging. And they didn't have contingencies in that case. They delayed by months, like almost 6 months
Yep.
of delay. By the way, great book. Highly recommend it. I love them. If they are watching this, you guys, you make really good stuff. That's why I backed you on Kickstarter, of all things.
We've got our filament suppliers. We have contingencies on contingencies, and like literally the final contingency is Amazon. Right?
Yep.
Now, if you have a Micro Center near you, that's your contingency is Micro Center. But I will tell you, both Printed Solid and Polar Filament, which are our two like major brands that we buy from in the States, they are both seeing stock numbers at a historic low. People are apparently panic buying filament because they, for some reason, think the price is going to go up. Polar put out a press release that they're not raising their prices because they're made in America and tariffs don't really affect them. But, you know, if something along the process prices go up, they'll let people know. And like, that's totally fair. I wish more companies would do stuff like that. We don't know what we're going to do with our pricing just yet because some of our software and our scanners and things, while they don't come from China, they come from other countries, and that could have an impact on pricing for us. So we haven't needed to buy anything yet, so we don't really have an ability to understand its implications. Yeah. But, you know, I would guess that Luke is probably sitting there waiting for that Swiss machine to get delivered, like, please no tariffs, please no tariffs, please no tariffs, please no tariffs, please no tariffs. Because, yeah, that can take a... I'm over here...
That can surprisingly hit you hard.
I've wanted a pine sill for a while, and I finally just, like, pulled the trigger on it, and I'm like, crap, it only has, like, 2 weeks to get into the country.
That's tight.
Yeah. If it doesn't...
Are you air freighting it?
Huh?
Are you air freighting it?
No.
Oh, it's not making it.
If it doesn't make
it's not making it.
That pine sill just cost me a lot of money.
It will take at least 4 days in port to be processed.
We will see what happens.
And it is not classed as entering the country until it is processed.
We will see what happens. There's nothing I can do. But I will tell you, I've got 30-ish kilos showing up today for for 2 projects. Glass fiber PETG and then raw PETG. And we were looking to switch over to Polar. And I saw they were out of stock, so I pinged Mitch. I'm like, hey, I need an entire production run of white PETG. He said, I can't. We're so behind on all this other stuff. I can't get it to you that quickly. I said, okay. As soon as it's ready, you let me know. I'll buy half a run right now for delivery later. But if you had an entire run available that you could run for me in the next couple of days, I would delay this project to get your material. So I had to go to one of our contingencies. We don't use Printed Solid for their PETG because it is a very, very high melting temperature PETG. So I can't flow it very quickly. Polar's is it melts. You can extrude it at 220 safely, happily.
Cool.
Yeah. So when I'm extruding at 275, I can go very fast, and speed matters more in our use case. So, but yeah, I had to go to one of our contingencies. So having those contingencies helps, but now I'm like trying to only order in the bare minimum that I need so that I don't hold contingency filament as inventory. And so I can quickly switch over to going to polar. I have like 5 kilos in inventory, but none of the projects we got are small enough that I can do the entire one project with polars, PETG. So yeah, having contingencies is really important. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yep.
YL Ben said Xyltech.
That's the big one.
I've used Xyltech in the past. We like them, but we switched over to printed solid for our PLAs, PETGs. Polar filament's been the backup for that. I have like over 200 kilos of Xyltech in stock, because sometimes they'll do like $9 a kilo filament. I'm like, okay.
Can't say no to that.
Don't say no to that. And it's like, I'll use it eventually. It can sit here until I use it. A lot of it's like this really nice dark blue. Do I have any of it handy? No, I don't. None that I like have parts made out of it. But it's a really nice, like, it's their cobalt blue. They had it for $9 a kilo. I'm like, okay. Dummy simple. Grab it. But yeah, I haven't used their material in a while. It would likely behoove me to look at doing that again, to have another fallback, because I'm trying not to use Amazon, and I think that a lot of people are looking into that same direction. Is let's try not to use Amazon if we don't have to, but Prime shipping does have a lot of value for a business standpoint. Yep. So
like the biggest thing that you will lie to yourself about if you start a business is you're never going to use Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah,
you will be using Amazon Prime a lot more than you think. And I know this from massive companies still use Amazon Prime, to the point where Amazon have Amazon Business, which is the business accounts for Amazon. We have one. It's actually quite nice. And that is how common it is for companies to need Amazon's delivery service. Because as much as we say it, Amazon isn't amazing because of the products they sell. They're amazing because of the logistics and distribution network. That is why they are so popular, because you can go, oh, it's a bit more expensive. I don't care. It's coming tomorrow. I've even had 8-hour delivery.
Oh yeah,
with Amazon Prime. You do not get 8-hour delivery in the UK. Like, hands down.
I spent over $400 in the past 48 hours on Amazon on filament.
Yep. Honestly, Amazon delivers faster than direct courier.
My accountant's going to be like, what the hell? Why have you just spent $480 on Amazon in 48 hours? I'm like, cost of goods sold. It's COGS, baby. Put it in COGS. And West 3D, Ambrosia, they're on the other side of the country for me, so shipping times are just abysmal. It's like, that's the kind of stuff I have to be careful about. So I don't use Amazon Business. I could, but it does seem to give me more trouble.
You get benefits. You do get some benefits. Now, you do have to buy Prime a second time if you want to do that, but you do get a higher level of service, and you normally are prioritized when it comes to the deliveries. That's the big one for me, is when they say it will arrive at a time, it is at a time, and it is on that day. There is none of this, oh, they said it was today, but it's tomorrow. Yeah. No, it is that day. And it's annoying that you have to buy a second Amazon Prime sub to do it. But I've never, on regular Amazon Prime, had 8-hour delivery.
$140 is cheap.
Yeah, like for a business, that $140 is exactly the cost of one job if we didn't do it. So I'd rather do it. Also, is it $140 over there?
$12 a month, I think. $144.
Holy shit. It's like 75 quid. Like $100 over here. Yeah, mugged off.
Well, no, conversion, that's roughly about the same. If it's 100 quid, 144 USD, that's...
No, it's 75 quid, so it's $100.
Oh.
Yeah.
Meh.
British
I can get same day delivery a lot of time. Like, I'm looking at buying a contingency filament. If I order it within 38 minutes, it'll arrive tomorrow. A holiday.
Yep. They do not mess around.
No. And I did see they had one of their new trucks, and on the side it said, "I'm electric, boogie woogie woogie." I'm like, okay, that's funny. That's funny. I'm not certain
That is quite fun.
I'm not certain that they can actually do that. I feel like that's a copyright thing, but whatever. It's Amazon. They have enough money to
No
not
one
care.
cares.
They're launching rockets shaped like penises. It really doesn't matter at this point, does it? Although I can't wait for them to start doing drone delivery down south, because drone delivery down south just ends up being target practice for the good old boys in the country.
Yeah, I'm really regretting it. We don't get drone delivery in the UK because of our drone laws are very strict. And it's a shame because I want to see drones. I want to go target shoot. I mean, I want to just see drones. I definitely don't want to do
It is a
anything else
federal
with it.
crime, for reference, to do that. So don't.
I mean, you're
don't do
shooting down an aircraft.
Yeah,
It
don't
comes with
do
a
that.
caveat.
Don't do that. But this is the South. Ask any roofer below the Mason-Dixon how many bullets they've pulled out of roofs, and they'll
Yep.
tell you it's less than. It is more than zero. It's
Look,
more
you
than
can't do
zero.
that in the UK. So we might not have bullets, but we know especially the area that I live in, our houses are used as target practice for Reaper drones. They will send the drone up, they will turn the thermals on, and they will look with all the laser designators on at our houses. Because obviously, if there's anyone like growing weed or anything, it's a hotter house.
Wait a minute. So now what you need to do is you need to build a laser jammer system just to piss them off.
Well, we're not allowed to take a laser rangefinder anywhere in this area because if we point it up and there's a plane up there, it will IFF incoming missile warning directly back to
Oh
your
yeah, well
location.
that's anywhere. That's like even here, it's a federal crime. But what if you just like covered your roof in retro reflectors?
So there was a time we were really worried that we would be like questioned by the police. So we had a shed. Now our shed is you've seen the shed, haven't you? It's just like a regular wooden shed. Like nothing special. It's got a fuse box in it. It's got 20 kilowatts of power line going into it because we used to
Jacob,
run
how dare you?
Bitcoin miners in there when electricity was only 14 pence a kilowatt. Yes, I know that's still very expensive.
Yeah, I pay
But we used to be
16
able to
cents a kilowatt right now.
we paid 20 something like it's not 20. I think it's like 45 pence a kilowatt at the moment. It's like ridiculously expensive in the UK. But no, like so we had cheap electricity. Bitcoin was starting to explode. So I bought a load of ASIC miners on student loans of all things. And I put them in there and I earned bank. But they chugged out heat. We had holes in the side of the shed with the silver tubing coming out. You walked by it and you could hear this
You just heard
as it
like
would
an
just like
angry
hum
pack
away.
of bees.
Yeah. And you could tell on thermal camera that shed was glowing hot. Like real hot.
Hotter than a cheaty SSR board.
Unfortunately, probably because that was toasty. But no, we were really worried somebody would just be up there scanning the things and it was like, why on earth is a shed 80 plus degrees?
It's like we're looking at going off grid, and I'm like, what happens if I make too much power? Because we're not going to sell back. So it's 5 cents a kilowatt hour if I sell back to my power company. So I'm not going to bother with grid tie.
Yeah.
So like, what happens if I'm making more than I need? I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go get some ASICs and just mine with
Yep.
the extra power that we have.
It's free money.
Like once the batteries hit 80%, the miners turn on, right? And we'll turn on enough miners because like I'm getting the energy from the sun, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, okay, problem
Somebody clip
solved.
that, please, by
Next
the way.
problem. What would be funny is if like I could somehow muffle them but dump all their heat into the shop so I could heat I could heat the chamber of the business. That'd just be funny.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, do it. It's free money.
Yeah, but it's like $25,000 for all the solar panels and batteries and all the other stuff that I need to do it right. And I haven't even checked the pricing recently because the pricing on everything just went through the roof.
Yeah.
And
most of the ASICs are from China, so enjoy that.
I buy them used. I don't care if they're a couple of gens old and they're a little bit slower, is what it is. You know. And I've got people in the industry that I could probably reach out to and talk to, but yeah,
If
it's
it
a weird
wasn't for the
thing.
electricity price over here, we would be doing it more. Because
Yeah.
I earn so much money from it. Like most of the business, like initial funds, were from profit from Bitcoin mining. It was good, and we didn't have like a dedicated setup or anything. I
Nice.
didn't like, other than putting a fuse box in a shed for a couple £100. It was worth it, and that was great. It's also great for overseas payments because it's not taxed, because it doesn't count as money until you realize it. And if
Yeah.
it's in-kind benefit, it's not real.
That's why I followed it. That's why I filed an extension on my taxes this year.
And for any bankers watching, I am doing it legally, and I am filling my taxes out correctly, and I have the right tax codes.
Yep. I don't know. We're not rich enough to commit tax evasion, so I pay all my taxes.
No,
I'm a good boy.
that's
I'm a
why we
good
call
boy.
it tax mitigation.
I avoid
We
three-letter
can't evade, but we
organizations.
can mitigate.
That's right. That's right. So any final thoughts on this? Like for me, small business is great for Kickstarter, big business bad.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's
Yeah, pretty much.
you could sum
Like
up
there is an
3 hours
argument.
and
Kickstarter does give back.
Mhm.
Like the excuse of bigger company means more
Money.
sight on smaller companies. And I understand it because if you have more people go to the website, then you've got more chance of doing something on the right size. But in reality, I just think it's a bit disingenuous.
It
I
is.
would rather support small people that I love and that I know of. Like, it's great when a YouTuber does it because you've already seen them. You've got that parasocial relationship. You know, if they mess up, they've ruined their brand.
Yep.
That is the type of people I like to support because they're genuine.
They have to
Whereas
be
big
genuine.
company, not genuine.
No. No, these larger companies, they have nameless, faceless individuals that run it, and often the names are completely fake anyways.
Yeah.
It's one of my
If it
favorite
goes
things.
wrong, they fire someone who never existed.
It's one of my favorite things when we have a representative that we work with. Hey, what is your real name? I want to call you by your real name, not your Americanized name. And like little bits like that go a very long way to making it a little more personal. And well, for me, that's where the value comes. It's all about being personal.
Yep.
So, all right. I think that'll do it for this one.
That's everything.
Episode 223 on 420 and Easter. If you all do celebrate Easter, have a wonderful Easter. If you don't, I don't know, blaze it. I just got an oh god from Error from the next room over. Like, just absolutely upset at me for that comment. You're not upset, you're just disappointed?
Oh, that's even worse.
Debating.
That's
Anyways,
even worse.
that is all we have for you all today. Support Kickstarters in a way that you don't care about the money that you lose. Support small business when and where you can. Remember, if you're going to support these larger companies, don't forget about tariffs. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Don't forget to leave a like and get subscribed. And as always,
keep making awesome.
Have a good one. Oh, I almost clicked the stop streaming button.
Don't do that. We still need to give filament away.
Yeah, we still got to give a roll away. Oh my god, I almost clicked the wrong button. Oh no. All right, let's give a roll away. Oh, that was so close to being a huge problem. Wow.
Oh. How long have you been doing this for?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't have to talk
and
about
for
it.
for the obvious reasons. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Oh no, I balked it.
You broke everything, Jacob.
There we go.
I can see myself in
wait,
there
no,
now.
Why isn't that working?
Wait, what's going on?
I turned off my virtual background.
Jacob, how long have you been doing this?
There we go. Hey!
I can still see myself a little bit.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, wait, now you're back.
I'm trying. Oh, God.
Oh, God, it's all the Jacob. All right, let me see. Did this person just join our Discord, too? Let me make sure they haven't won. I don't think they've won.
I keep forgetting I now have to manage my camera in 3 different apps now.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
the background blur and everything is NVIDIA, so I have to remove it to get sharing. Then I have to go to OBS to get media share, but for some reason media share is not full size. There we go. So I've got media share full size, but then I've got no zoom version of me, particularly for the new cropping. And then I can put that back. There we go. So woo!
I thought this person had just become a member of our Discord, but they didn't. Griffin's Closet Print Farm. If you're in the chat, you win a roll. And if you're not, oh well. And we'll give away one more.
Yeah, that is working. There we go.
Who do we got? All right, let me see if they've already won this month. Oh, I got a little bit of acid reflux today, man. I'm hungry.
Go eat something after this.
I'm going to dinner with the parents.
I've had beef.
John MYTB, you are a winner as well. So, those are our 2 winners. Thank you all for coming out to the stream. We're going to go send you to go hang out with Mr. Steve Builds. We're going to go hang out with Mr. Bigglesworth and Steve Builds. God, one of his cats should be Mr. Bigglesworth, though. Totally should be.
100%.
Steve's working on a Prusa mini refresh, which is going to be super cool. But yeah, if you did win, reach out to me. If not, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you all later. I don't know. Don't commit tax evasion unless you're rich enough to get out of the charges. Bye!
For legal reasons, that's a joke. It's not a joke.
No,
you should do it.
Crimes are legal in the United States if you're rich enough. We've already established this.
Yeah. Crimes are just punishments by big state for poor people.
It's so true. Bye!
Bye!